and welcome to the Third Eye Podcast. I do apologize that I've not been around lately. Many changes have gone underway, and they continue to change. Life, when life comes at you with change, you let it change, and as it changes, you adapt. You know what I mean? So I do apologize if the episodes have been a little sparing lately, but I have been getting some good conversations in with some friends, and I do intend to upload them, and that's what this one here is for. And so now I'd like to introduce Marice. I think it was no, I'm gonna mess it up. Let's just go with Marice, and he's an interesting fella. The first couple questions he ever asked me was like pancakes or waffles, and then this other question, like what type of flavored ice cream, if I could make any ice cream in the world. And I knew from those first few questions that there was something deeper going on with Maurice. And without further ado, let's jump into that wavelength where this conversation took place.
And there's been some dreams where like I enjoyed it so much that I want to see it again. I wake up, don't remember it, and when I go back into a dream,
Those fucking dreams.
it like in the next time. Sometimes I'll go into the same dream again. Like it picks up where I left off. But when I wake up, I don't remember anything what happened in that dream. I only remember when I'm in that dream again.
Have you ever had, so you've had moments where you've had a good dream and then you go back into the dream essentially? Like you
like
have the dream again.
Like a to be continued situation. Yeah, the next night. But sometimes they're all random now. But
Part 2, to be continued.
right.
That's interesting. I've probably the scariest dream I've ever had that was also the realest, aside from the others that I remember from when I was really young. There's two where I was in a house and it was falling and spinning, like it was falling perfectly, but it was also spinning at the same time through the air. And I was running through the house being chased by a like T-Rex, like by a dinosaur. And I remember crawling into this tiny little it was like a long dresser drawer type object that had doors on it that when you open the door you could go into it, and then it was like a little it was very strange. It was a dream. And then I remember crawling through it and then getting to the other side where the other door was and like opening it or already being open, and then the eye of the dinosaur like lined up with the door and it looked inside at me and it blinked, and I freaked out. But that's all I remember from that dream.
Oh my god.
Pretty young in that one. And then and then I remember this fleeting dream. This one's a cliche. And it's the only thing I remember from this dream. I remember like falling through the sky, but I was like flying and I was in a bathtub full of money.
A bathtub full of money.
In a bathtub full of money. I was flying and I was really happy.
Like the falling or the bathtub full of money?
Say again?
Like the falling situation, or just like it being
Like
in a
the
bathtub full of money?
Like I was in a bath. All of it was great. Like I was in the bathtub full of money, and it was like Aladdin, but without the carpet. It was, I was flying around, and I was like, "This is great!"
Oh my god, a bathtub full of money. That's actually wild.
And yeah, and then comes the nightmares. This nightmare that I had. I haven't remembered that one in a while. Chronologically, those two I had when I was younger, and then somewhere along the line I had this other nightmare where I'm outside of this trailer that we were living in at the time. Mm-hmm. It was like it's called a double wide. You ever heard of that?
No.
So there's trailers that you can they have the hitch and you can pull them up, and then sometimes they're sitting on center blocks. Maybe you've delivered to one. And then there's double wides, which are just bigger trailers. They're like twice as big. Okay. And so we lived in this double wide at the time. And I had this nightmare where I was outside in like the front yard-ish of the double wide. And I remember the two pine trees that were really big where we would park the cars. And it was nighttime. Mm-hmm. And there were trailers parked, in between the trees where we would normally park our cars. Like it was an RV park or something like that.
Right.
And I remember there were lights on in the RVs and whatnot. And I remember like walking by like a projector screen that was outside, and it was my dad on the screen, and he was like, and it was so weird. He was like, and remember, don't breathe the air outside, it's poisonous. And then he took this baseball and he threw it at this stack of bricks. And then the camera cuts to the bricks, and then the baseball hits the bricks and they fall over in this awkward way. And I was like, it's poisonous out here? And then I remember looking over at one of the little pull-up RVs that you could hook on a truck, and looking in that little like slit window.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing I think it was like a little girl or some creature or something, and then its face like contorted into something horrifying, and that's when it turned into a nightmare. And I just started freaking out, and I was like, the air is poisonous, and then there's like a demon in one of these RVs, and it's looking at me like it's gonna suck my soul out as I die. And then I woke up or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And then the last one is the one that this is the one where I like woke up and had to write it down. And I call it With the Belts.
With the belts?
I call it the With the Belts nightmare. And it's where I was working in some kind of hospital, and it was like it was a weird environment. And I had these scrubs on, and I was pushing a metal cart. And there's these doors, going down the hallway, parallel on each side. And
Double doors.
yeah, there was just, I'll go through some double doors, and then there's single doors lining the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point while I'm pushing the cart, I hear like this horrendous, like just someone like destroying a room in the most violent way possible, breaking glass, just like something going on, like 2 rooms down, door on the right. And I'm pushing the cart, and I'm like, I have to go check that out. So I push the cart over to the side of the door, and I go in. The room's been destroyed, and there's like black stuff all over the walls with handprints. And there's a girl on the edge of like this like hospital examination table, and she's like on the edge of it, like perched on the edge of it on her knees / feet with her hands on the edge, and her hands are like black and whatnot, fingertips black. And she's like looking at me desperately, and she's going, with the belts, with the belts, with the belts, with the belts, with the belts. And I interpret that she's wanting me to tie her down to the chair. It has straps on it. So I start laying her down, and I strap her arms up, and she's totally like compliant until I go to strap her feet, and then she starts screaming. And she's screaming so loud that it's that kind of like scream that you see in movies where someone is like being affected by like a siren or something, and the screen starts to shake and their ears start to bleed, and it's like piercing their brain. It was that kind of scream, and it was so intense that like covering my ears did nothing, and then it sent me into I this is one way to describe it. How I used to say it was she started to scream, and then I would try to cover my ears, it wouldn't work, and then I just started wailing. Yes. And that's what happened. But yeah, how I was going to say it just then was it sent me into a violent rage. But yeah, I started wailing on her, and then I woke up.
So you thought it was a hospital? Is it like an insane asylum?
It could have been very much that kind of environment. Because like I think the doors even, I'm probably misremembering at this point because it's been so long, but they probably had like port style windows instead of square.
Yeah,
I totally could be misremembering that.
Oh my gosh.
Don't know, but I don't know what's going on with dreams, but I don't know what's going on with DMT trips either. Because I don't know if I've told you. You know what? Well, you should tell me something interesting. I've been talking a lot.
So, I don't know why my dreams end up with me falling, but there was a dream that I can vaguely remember that I was in a fight with somebody. I don't know what the altercation was or what started it. I just know I was like really mad at this person, probably something based off of that entire day, or someone I didn't like that day or something like that. That's probably what it manifested into in my dream. But long story short, we were just fighting all the way up until we got to, again, a cliff or something. And then we just It was like a
The cliff again.
yeah. I don't know why it just ends like nightmares. I don't know if that was like a nightmare, but like I just don't like heights. I'm not a big height person, even though I like roller coasters. If that, I know it's kind of like
No, I get. Well, there's a level of like you kind of feel safe when it comes to some roller coasters because you're like,
I mean, sometimes
there's a
I'm
bar
on,
here that I feel like is gonna hold me, and then
I mean, sometimes I'm on the fence, even when I'm on a roller coaster. Kind of know I've seen a lot of Final Destination when I was little. So
it?
Final Destination.
oh yeah, no, that's a good one,
Specifically
yeah.
the third one with the roller coaster. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I was getting like every time I'm like falling, I literally instantly have like a. It feels like a heart attack because my heart is like when I wake up, and I was like, oh my god, thank God, I'm just
Do you
on
just
the ground.
do you come out of those dreams like out of breath?
Yeah, sometimes, or sometimes when I come out of a dream, I see like my bathroom door is open or something like that, or I was like, maybe I just forgot to close it. That's why I had a nightmare or something like that. I try to like
Maybe
come
that's
up,
why you had a nightmare.
but like,
It can like psychologically affect you in that way.
I think so because, or sometimes I don't know. It just depends on like I guess my mood throughout the day can like manifest into like either a dream or a nightmare. So if I'm having a good day, sometimes it can be a good dream. Sometimes it could be a one-off dream, or sometimes, like I said before, like it can be like a continuation from a previous dream. It's all over the place. I can't really control my dreams. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And
Yeah, I'm in that club with you where I can't really control them.
it's definitely an out of world experience, like Doctor Strange in a way. Have you seen that movie?
I definitely have seen movies where he's doing shit and interacting with his powers and abilities, and that's very much in some ways how DMT feels and interacts. Like it's like stepping into that mirror dimension.
Yes.
That's okay. Where there's like literally fractals in the sky.
Yes.
Okay. There was literally one time where we were out there, and I do a little bit of let's call it spacewalk, and I'm sitting in the grass, and we have like a thing laying on the grass, and I have my I'm just like sitting on this blanket, but like this part of my legs and beyond is in the grass, and I start to ascend or whatever, and the grass goes from its random growth and order of like a chaotic look to I blink and it all becomes fractal and repeats. You know how like you see a chain link fence, it has that same diamond pattern.
Yes.
It's like that. It's like imagine like in a video game or something like that where they create a diamond shape where grass is growing and then they're gonna repeat that to like make it act as foliage. Imagine that, but perfectly repeated, the exact same patch of grass, fractally in a diamond pattern. I blinked and the grass went from whatever it looked like to that everywhere I looked.
Went from random to like different sizes to all the same.
All the same. And then this is where it got interesting. And in every single little fractal, two little sprigs of like grass, like almost like antennas,
Yeah.
kind of wiggled out like antennas. And they all kind of like it was repeated everywhere. It was all exactly the same. They all went and kind of like just imagine they're looking at you. They
God!
They all just kind of like start to look at me and like they extend and they kind of wiggle in a weird way and I'm like the grass and then I realize my legs are in the grass and the grass is like interacting with me and is sensing me in a weird way and it's literally this entire organism which is everything that the grass is, roots and all throughout the entire system. I'm sitting on top of it and it's looking at me.
Oh my god, that's creepy.
And that's and for a moment, at least now remembering on it, that feels like how I feel like it would feel to be in the ocean wondering what's beneath you.
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't realize that before, but I was watching Avatar the other day.
The Blue People Avatar.
No, the Last
left?
Airbender.
Oh!
Yeah, the cartoon.
Yes.
And I watched that episode where Aang is like in the swamp, and then some swamp bender tells him about how the tree is literally this entire forest.
Right.
It just grows out roots, and then the roots grow trees, and then the trees grow more roots, and then it just keeps going, and then you are literally on top of one thing, and it all speaks to everything, and that's a similar situation.
I mean, in a way, I mean, like, it makes sense. This whole earth that we live on is a living being.
Everything on it, I would say. Even, and this is probably a hard debate, but maybe rocks are alive in some way that we're just not conscious of. Because I do think at least most, if not all, things are conscious in some way that we just can't understand yet.
Have you seen that movie, Everyone, Everywhere, All at Once?
No, but that title makes me think of substance.
So, I don't want to spoil it, but
You can if you want.
it's a good fucking movie. You should definitely watch it. It would be definitely something up your alley because they go from normal everyday life to balls off crazy mid to the end. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of the end. Pretty much these two people.
Spoiler, everybody.
Oh my god, two people. I'm not gonna say who. They get reincarnated
Oh, hell yeah.
as rocks.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Literally as rocks, and they're just sitting there on a cliff, and of course they can't move the rocks, and they're just talking.
Are they communicating?
Yeah, I guess with their thoughts, because of course they don't have mouths or anything like that, and you have to just look at the sunset. You know, of course, you know, day by day they're in that same spot. They can't move or nothing. Just like they're just talking, you know, figuring something out, and that's all I can say because I don't want to give.
I want to ask questions, but I'm gonna start feeling away.
Yeah, no, you definitely got. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen Everyone, Everywhere, All at Once, it's a. Whoo! Let's just say it's a movie that like you know like some movies where like you like I know what's gonna happen next. Mm-hmm. You have no idea what's gonna happen next.
Plot twist beyond all plot twists.
Oh man, plot twist crazy. Like you would never know what's gonna happen next. I don't want to. I want to say this one scene, but like it's too good of a scene for me to explain it because like it's so off the wall. Like they got like a cult with like the circle on their foreheads and stuff like that. You know there's like a giant donut, but apparently it's part of like a big ass cult. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
That sounds okay. Yeah,
it's insane. Yes. It's definitely a good movie to watch.
You ever watch? I haven't personally gotten to watch this, but I know some good, at least a couple chunks about it, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I feel like I've probably seen that at one point.
There's like a robot or a computer that's like some amazing computer that like did the calculation, like what's the answer to all life, universe, and everything, and it gives out like a number, and it's like the answer to all life, the universe, and everything is 42.
42?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't remember.
Why does that feel...
There is a reason why, actually. Let me see if I can look it up real quick on like DeepSeek. I can always use this computer right here that I have. What's that? That right there.
Oh, man. It's definitely like... Like I don't like getting the actual answer, like when it's offered.
I don't think there is
a right answer.
I don't think you. I think it's really, really hard. You have to be you probably have to be really old and wise to be able to sum it up in a sentence. Is all I gotta say about it. Maybe. It's like you could tell me in one sentence like the answer to all life, universe, and everything without using 42 as an answer.
This is a number, like a number so vague because like what does that mean? Oh my gosh, there's so many layers.
Let's see what pops up here. Yeah, perfect. All right, show me more.
Oh my gosh.
42 is the albeit ironic answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. After 7.5 million years of computation, the supercomputer Deep Thought produced this number. Adams chose 42 simply because it was a joke, a mundane, ordinary number. But come on, I thought it was.
No. Well, okay. When I see 42, right? Why am I? The first thing I'm thinking of is 42, like the baseball movie.
What? I don't know what that movie is.
With Chadwick Boseman.
I don't know.
It's oh my god, how am I gonna forget the baseball player's name that is based off? This is based off a true story. Is it Jackie Robinson? I think
that is a baseball player. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's him. Yeah. Chadwick Boseman plays him, and he's the number 42.
Oh.
I don't know if 42 is like, because I see it in different movies. Not even just that. I saw it in, of course, it appeared a lot in Spider-Man to Spider-Verse as well. And probably in other movies too that we don't really recognize or really look at the details or anything. But
Yeah.
maybe 42 is something maybe it is important for
Maybe it
something.
means something.
It means something of some sort.
Have you? I heard this earlier today. I watched a video. You never heard of the Y-Files?
The Y-Files. No, I haven't seen that.
You might check that. You might like that out. It's on YouTube. And I watched an episode today talking about how we encode things in our speech. You ever heard of like talk of like playing certain music tracks backwards and having secret messages in them and stuff like that?
Yes.
Well, there was I watched this episode and it was basically all about like playing things in reverse and how we always end up saying things that are like almost like secret truths. And I think the person who discovered it like did a ton of research, and it's a very legitimate thing, and it's predicted a lot of stuff and like revealed the truth about a lot of things. And I think it's used in like JFK assassination to prove it and stuff like that. Very interesting evidence. And there's also some garbled garbage, but very interesting evidence for what I think he described as your subconscious telling the ultimate truth or something like that. Or always, like, as you are speaking, your subconscious is also saying something. And the way that you hear it is by playing what you say in reverse. And there's one thing I can do on here when I go to edit this, is I can hit reverse and hear what we're saying in reverse. And I didn't realize that until now. But, so, and it's almost like a lie detector kind of thing. I don't know, that's my shitty description of it, where it's like you can like, if someone's saying something and maybe they're lying, that like that reverse speech will somehow reveal it sometimes.
I've never heard that before. That's definitely my interpretation of someone that's telling the truth is when, of course, I for some reason I look at like
Gut instinct.
no, not just gut instinct, but when they're drinking a lot, someone that's like that drinks or anything, you're pretty much like revealing your true self in a way.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking, you're pretty much just blurting, like throwing out your whole, like how you truly feel. Rather than, this face or facade that you've been putting on when you're sober.
For real. I have my own interpretations of alcohol because I don't like it too much, to be honest. Even though I'll still drink, because I can enjoy a drink, but I am aware of its negative qualities. I don't like when it affects my speech. I like to be able to articulate myself very carefully. Yeah, I don't like slurring. And but it's no different than nicotine too. But I'm able to put a stop to both because I've done it before to make an example of it. And that's something that psychedelics have really helped me do, because I think I've had a recent revelation of how to articulate the beginning of my experience of using DMT a lot was when we were in the studio apartment, and I remember, I wasn't cleaning up the dishes, and it's like one room thing. It's a studio,
Right.
and tiny.
Very small kitchen.
Yeah, and this like sliding barn door to separate the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's a giant gap, and then like hung, so there's like a tiny gap at the bottom. But yeah, and then the sink's right here. Anyway, but so yeah, I was eating like carnivore diet basically. I was eating only like pork and beef slices of meat. And this was like the very somewhere in the beginning of my journey of trying to lose weight when I was like 300 plus pounds. And I at some point looked at the pile of scraps of meat that like were down to the bone, the pork that had bone with it, and I saw it piled up there, and I was tripping, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I'm like a caveman. I'm like a caveman that's like, I'm not hunting anything, but I'm going out there and I'm getting meat, and I'm bringing it back here and I'm eating it, and I'm not disposing of it properly, and it's piling, and I look like a caveman.
Yeah.
This place looks like a cave. And I was not cleaning it, but it was making me dreadfully aware of like what my situation looked like and what I was letting it look like.
Was this studio apartment have any windows, or was it no windows?
So it had, like, you could essentially say it had 3 walls, fridge, sink, bathroom, sliding barn door, flat wall, and then this wall, which had the door, was also one giant tinted window.
Oh my God.
That you could see out of, but people couldn't see into, and then it also had the AC unit beneath the giant window. And so it was a strange experience. It's like when you see those like weird interpretations on movies where it's like this giant person in an alien room where he's like got specimens of every species, and he's like got a glass window and a giant wall, and it's all these windows with different species, and it's what it felt like, because it was like these apartments with 2 floors, and it was that all the way across, and it used to be a hotel, and they renovated it into studio apartments, and that's why they're designed like that.
That's so weird.
They changed ownership.
That's so weird. Okay. My friends a while back ago, they had a studio apartment, and the only window that they had was to their front door. That was the only window that they had. Because like every time I go over there and hang out with her, or like sometimes, rarely I spend the night over there, but when I do, I'm like, I wake up, I'm just like, is it morning? Because like there's no windows. Like I was literally losing my mind, and I'm just like, how can y'all live in this when y'all don't have any windows? You can't see outside, or it feels like a
casino.
Not a casino. Like I remember when I first had my first dream, and when you walk, and like it's literally nothing there. It's like a box. To me, that's how my first dream turned out. Like, like when you're first born and stuff, you don't really understand or anything like that. So, when you dream, I'm just like, is this reality or anything? This is a first time thing, and I'm just in a box. I'm just sitting there. Nothing. There's nothing in there.
Was it like a cardboard box?
It's like a room with nothing in it, and like that whole experience, and like like a voice was telling me is like, you can fill this whatever you want, and so. I was like, okay, but in this situation, it feels like a negative box in their studio apartment, because there's all this stuff that they have and stuff like that, like all this materialistic things, but like they're always miserable, they're always upset, and I'm just like, man, y'all need to go outside. Because like even when I can just feel the aura, the presence when I walk in here and be like, oh my God, I don't want to be here, Yeah. And when we do go outside, it feels great. It feels amazing. We go play basketball and stuff like that. But I got the vibe from one of my friends. I'll just call him Jay. He was going to off himself.
Really?
Because he couldn't deal with the situation he was in. He didn't like his roommate. He didn't want to pay his half of the rent or put in the effort. I felt his whole raw vibe, and I've never had a friend like that before. I've seen it, of course, on social media, like people going to off themselves, but I've never seen that in person before. So when he told me that, I was like, you'd be the last person I would think of that would do something like that. I was like, let's go outside, let's get out of here, and he would actually feel a lot better. But going back to my first dream, I didn't know what to fill up that room, because like this is my first time. So I was like, what do I fill this up with?
And what do you mean your first time dreaming?
Yeah, my first dream. So I was just like in a random room, nothing in it, like a squarish
Any
kind of room.
general estimate for the age of that dream?
I don't even know. I don't know.
Probably real early though.
Probably, yeah, like maybe like 10, maybe whenever. I don't even know, like 10, maybe.
Let's just say between 3 and 12.
Yeah, right, yeah, I'll say that. And there was this door. Don't know where it goes to, but I also could not open it either. Until recently, well, not recently, maybe like a year or so ago, probably like a few months. And I was able to open that door.
A few months ago?
Sometime last year.
So how often do you revisit that room? Would you say in
Not
your
as
life?
often. I sometimes I wake up and I remember I was in that room and I
Are you
want to go
being
back to that room.
Are you being legit?
Yeah, yeah.
This is something that happens to you.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't really control my dreams. So like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I could end up in a random dream, with the Coke machine falling, or sometimes it'll spawn me in that room. And when I'm in that room, the stuff that I got materialized, outside is in that room. So like any negative things or any good things are in that room. So it's kind of like I don't have that much space left. I was pretty much cluttered in all this materialistic stuff in this dream. So I'm just piled up in the midst of this small room, and but that door is still there, and I'm trying to figure out how to open that door. Trying to figure that out. And like I said, a few months ago, I was able to get to this dream once again, and was able to open the door, which lead to sunlight and a field, and literally just outside. And that what made me realize, well, it gave me a glimpse of like how I can stay positive in a way and always keep that positivity going is by always going outside any chance I get. Because if I stay inside, trapped in that small box that I created for myself, thinking buying all this materialistic stuff is going to make me happy, it's actually doing the opposite.
That's a profound way to look at it. Yeah, no. See, of course, this is what it's like being a human, where you want to apply your own thought or your own idea of something, your own interpretation of what seems to be a message, clearly. And my own ego. This is what I find profound about psychedelics. They give you an opportunity to really shatter your ego and get rid of it for at least a moment. Because when you can think outside of your ego, that's a very special thing. Because you're usually very happy, and much of what has made you up until that moment is not there. So I feel like the most happy and loving and receiving and whatever version of you, the best version of you, is capable of coming through in those moments. And but my brain wanted to say something about like how to interpret that, but your own interpretation is perfect.
It's just for years I've been bottling my true feelings inside, and I just been going whatever the group's been going to. So like if the vibe is like cool, lay back, smoke, drink, I try to put myself in that environment, even though that's not something I'm not really comfortable being around. I try to, I guess, put my own twist on it. I try to be like, what they call me is like the hype/goofy guy, but really they're just making fun of me. And even though like I just laugh and giggle, be like, oh, they don't really mean it, and this, that, and the other, and oh, it's all jokes at the end of the day. But in my mind, I'm just like, I feel hurt, mistreated.
Not seen.
Yeah, I'm just there just to be a punching bag or a clown. And recently, I've always wanted to find my group of people, and I thought I did when I went down to live with my dad. Those people were like slightly older than me, but they had their own issues and stuff, and it was kind of like getting put on me a little bit every time I hang out with them outside of work. And I could tell from like the environment, the surrounding aura, or if it's positive or negative. It was mostly negative because like every time it was like, man, I don't know what to do, and I try to help them out. It was like, oh, I don't like how you're forcing this upon me or making me do things I don't want to do. I was like, okay, well, I'll just back up and just go on my merry way. I'm not trying to force nobody. I'm not trying to make nobody do anything. I'm just trying to help. I'm just,
Yeah.
I want to be there for my friend. I want them to strive just as much as I want to strive for myself. And again, I was putting them before myself. So I was getting hit heavy with a lot of trauma and a lot of burdens. And until I met you. And so when I go to a new job, again, I keep to myself for a bit, until somebody pops up, or like if they want to talk to me, then I'll talk to them back. I really didn't know what exactly how to portray myself towards around people, so I just go in there and just be random. and I just asked him random questions, like I did, with the ice cream and everything like that.
And the waffles.
Yeah, exactly. Waffle or
pancakes.
pancakes. And so,
Yeah, I always, like I said, that one time, I felt like there was more going on there. It was interesting to me. Every time you did that, I was thinking like, this is something something that psychedelic trips have taught me is that like everybody out there is like, we're all the same. One way I've looked at it, like through like sometimes I call them visionary experiences. Experiences. Yeah, that's right. Visionary experiences. Where I'll just be doing stuff and I'll like see something vividly in my mind. You know how you could like picture an apple?
Yes.
Can you do that? Can you picture an apple in like high definition right now?
yes, in a way. What defines as high definition?
Like as if it's real and
Like
in
I
your
could
hand,
touch
like
it?
an actual hand, yeah. Can you picture it really well?
A little bit, yes.
Or does it seem like lower quality? How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
About like a 5, 6.
It's about mid detail.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can picture an apple and like, I can go in any direction if I want to. I can take that apple and like split it anatomically into 8 pieces and see its seeds and pull them out as if it's like in an anti-gravity scenario where it's like
Oh my
a
gosh.
being with no hands or arms or legs or anything. It just like dissect it instantaneously.
Yeah.
I can do anything in my mind, especially it's become more vivid and interesting ever since I've done psychedelics. It's become more powerful what my brain is able to vividly see. And this, I even like how I told you about my fiance did the tarot cards and it predicted the birth of those 3 babies.
Yes.
Well, another thing that happened the week before my brother told us that he got a girl pregnant was I was working, packages and whatnot, and I was driving around and I had this vivid imagery just like, and sometimes this is how I know it's not me, is when it comes out of nowhere and it feels foreign too, usually, and but sometimes I'll just be like so casual in my day, and sometimes the way I was raised, it's weird getting a new perspective on what thoughts might be, and but I saw like a baby with an umbilical cord, and it was in this like 50 different shades of pink landscape, and it was like laughing and it was happy. And I could hear the laughing of like a happy child, and I saw this like imagery, and then I was like, "That's pretty cool." I just thought my like synapses were firing a little extra. I was like, I don't know what I ate, but either way, and then like 2 days later, he calls me up out of the blue, and he's like, "I'm having a baby," and I was like,
Oh my
and I don't
God.
know if that is related, but when things just pop in my head out of nowhere and they feel
Like a
foreign
foreshadow.
like that, they sometimes seem to it's happened many times. And there was one time where me and Chelsea are convinced that we had a telepathic experience. I was pulling into work into the driveway and or the parking lot I should say, and I wasn't listening to anything. I didn't have earbuds in or nothing. My radio doesn't work in my car, and I was pulling in, and I was just having a stream of thought, and all of a sudden, it was completely interrupted by loud music. It was my stream of thought was interrupted, like someone knocking on the front door right now, interrupting our conversation. And it made me feel something. I was like, what? And this is how I describe it, and I feel like this is best. You know how you can listen to music in your car and whatnot, and you turn it up, and you're having a good time, and you get home, and then the song ends, and you like maybe slap it on the steering wheel, and then you turn the car off, and it's perfect, it ends, and you go inside. The next morning, you forget that you left it turned up, and you turn your car on, and then it screams at you.
Yeah.
That's how it interrupted my thoughts. Silence, perfect, calm, clarity, my thoughts. Boom, a song starts playing. And it was a song that she was singing to herself in her head while she was thinking about me. and then it interrupted my thoughts, and it was so foreign, definitely not my thought, definitely a weird experience that as I was pulling in, I was thinking about pulling my phone out and texting her the lyrics because I was convinced that this was not my thought.
Right.
And I didn't do it. But when I texted her later, we talked about the time that it happened and whatnot, and we can confirm that that's exactly what happened. I should have texted her because it would have been even more confirmation that we had actually had that experience. But it happened for us. We had an experience that we would both 100% claim as telepathic, where I was pulling into work, and typically what we know about telepathy is that, like, I think the way that the connection, I guess, I'm butchering it, but the way that the connection is strongest is through love and whatnot, the frequency of love. And that's why it was, to me, interesting and profound that it was a song she was singing and thinking about me.
That's insane.
While she was singing it. She was singing it in her head, and then it just train wrecked my thought process. It came in, it interrupted it, and I was like, what's happening? What's happening?
Where did
I
this
was
song
reaching
come
for my
from?
phone. Yeah, I was reaching for my phone. I was like, I was driving, I was like, I need to chill out. But I turned on my emergency lights, because I'm getting into the back of the parking lot. But anyway, yeah, so it was... we think telepathy is real.
Yeah.
And it's just that it's an ability that maybe we have to relearn. We think we all can... We think we can all do it. It's
like, what's crazy? Like, I think that everyone has they call it special talent, but I think it's more of a superpower. Mm-hmm. And I think, like you said, telepathy, I think, especially when love is involved, definitely, like, if you have a strong connection with that significant other, then yeah, I think it does come out more frequently than you may seem. And
finishing each other's sentences.
Yeah, oh my gosh, dude. Sometimes I do that with my friend Keyshawn up in Virginia. Sometimes he finished my sentence and it comes off as weird. I was like,
you known each other a long time?
About 2 to 3 years. It definitely, like, rubbed me the wrong way at first. 'Cause I was like,
you didn't like it?
It's like, I was like, how do you know that? Okay, I understand, like, people that wants to, like, know me from a deeper perspective and stuff like that, but, like, this is just know me for what I guess portray, because, like, we don't have to always finish each other's sentences or anything like that. I don't expect you to, like, know every single thing about me, because, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna know more about me besides me. Exactly. I don't expect anybody, it's even you, I don't expect you to know everything about me. I'm the kind of person that doesn't have a big ego. I'm actually the opposite. Sometimes I like to hype the other person up rather than hyping myself up.
Do you ever wonder if that actually in some ways its own really strong ego? It's just highly protective of yourself instead of the other way around?
It can be sometimes. And sometimes I don't like to, like, toot my own horn about, like, all the accomplishments I made because I guess how my mom put it is, like, you need to humble yourself. You need to appreciate the stuff that you did up to this point. I'm just like, I know I can do better. I know I can do more.
You're capable of more.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any moments in your life where where things have been really hard and you, like, found steel within your soul and, like, accomplished something, at least for others might have seemed crazy or hard?
Getting a place for myself, getting my first apartment by myself with, and not having any experience at all living by myself.
Moved out?
Yeah, moved out with my parents, moved out with my mom's house and got my own place. And of course, finding a place that will accept me for not having any credit either. Mm-hmm. So on top of that, like, I didn't know anything about credit cards until I was 21. So I was, like, in the late stages of, like, learning things I needed to know when I got out of high school. But of course, my parents were like, you only got 2 options, college or military. I was going for sure going to the military.
What? That's what they told you?
My dad said you can go to military. My mom said you can go to college. I mean, if you do anything else besides that, then, I mean, that's up to you. I didn't know what it was like outside of reality of school, so I tried. I was going to go to military, but they won't accept me because at the time I was taking medication. I was on epilepsy.
Oh, really? Did you deal with seizures?
Yes. I don't remember too much of how many seizures I had, but from what my mom been telling me when I was like, I think it was like 9, maybe 8-ish, I was getting seizures back to back sometimes. Like there's been sometimes that I could have like been, completely gone or dead or anything. I don't remember any of those. The only last earliest seizure I had was when I was waking up on a hospital bed, and the only thing I remember was going inside of the hospital. So I must have had a seizure within that time period
Because
because
put you out.
yeah, and I remember the McDonald's. I was like right next door because that's the only thing I remember, and they put me on like some type of sleep medicate or like the air to make you fall asleep.
Oxygen. Oh well.
Yeah,
No,
and then
that's
I don't know
not
what
oxygen.
happened after that, but I was on like maybe like 5, 6 different medications, and it was kind of messing up my my mood and my emotions because sometimes my mom was like, "You were acting like aggressive on some medications. Like, can we try this one?" And sometimes I was like distant. Sometimes I was quiet. Like different medications were messing up my whole personality. So when I finally was able to get off the medication for good, which was May 19th of 2 years ago.
Really?
I don't take medication anymore. Yeah, from that point all the way up till now.
2 years ago.
Yeah, I was losing it because I was so used to being on medication, and so when I was off of it, I didn't know who the heck I was.
Yeah, you just spent so much time managing side effects.
I was in a midlife crisis, and
And how old were you? 2 years ago, you're
I'm 20, 26. I would say like 25, 24.
midlife crisis. So you were you
I
having
was-
a quarter life crisis.
Yeah, and I was in a relationship at the time too. She
When
was.
do you, when do you think what generation had it worse? If you think, I think we've like moved the needle. We went from having midlife crises to quarter life crises. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. But
No, you're good. To answer your question, the last seizure I had, that I know I remember because it was bad. 2014 on Thanksgiving Day.
on Thanksgiving Day.
I was at my cousin's house. I was supposed to spend the night there, and we were specifically playing this music, Def Jam Rap Star, on PlayStation 3. There was flashing lights,
Oh, I was gonna say, did anything cause that?
and I knew I was going into a seizure, but I thought maybe I can like overpower it, like
What
try
did
to
it-
like.
What did it feel like?
It
for a
felt-
seizure to come on.
This medication, I didn't take any medication that day, so I knew it was going to happen. I was tingly. I felt like a stone statue. My eyes, my mouth feels numb. Like when they stick you with a needle with that numbness thing, or whatever, the liquid or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, I've
it's-
looked with a dentist in particular. Or,
Yeah. Like imagine take your wisdom teeth out and they stick like a needle with
now,
some.
I've still got all my wisdom teeth, but they have numbed my mouth before.
Yes, that's what my mouth felt like.
Ooh, it
And
just went numb?
yeah, it was just went numb. Like I couldn't talk anymore, and I could have looked away. And I probably would have went back to normal. But I kept staring because maybe I thought maybe it could overpower it at the time. And when more flashing lights kept popping up, hitting my eyes and everything, and beaming back, that's when I knew like my eyes. Like, it felt like I was running a marathon, and like I don't feel anything, and my body just went limp, and I fell on the back of a chair and hit my head on it.
Ooh.
I didn't feel none of that, by the way.
Wow.
So when I woke up too, all I saw was a doctor literally shining a light inside my face, and on the corner of my eye, I saw my cousin in the kitchen laughing, humiliating me. And
That's its own
it
trauma
was-
right there.
and so yeah, I thought I could have died.
You could have died.
I could have died. Hit my head on the back of a chair, and I would never have woken up. Sometime I came to. I thought maybe I saw a flashing light. I'm thinking like this is heaven, but he just kept moving back and forth. It was just a guy pointing a light in my face. My auntie and stuff on the side, they were worried. My cousin was laughing on the side. My mom came in. She was like, "You're coming home. You're not staying over here, this, that, and the other." That whole experience made me. I don't even know. I don't even know how I reacted during that whole situation. I was just like,
Flabbergasted.
yeah. Like, I'm just like, I don't. It's like, what the hell happened? Like, the last thing I remember was just, fainting, my eyes going dark, and here I am waking up on the floor, but I did with a flashlight, and I never hang out with sometimes I see my cousins, but I don't really hang out with them like that because
You ain't gotta eat at their table, man.
not even just that, but like they have ulterior motives. My cousins don't care anything about me, and yeah, there's a whole lot of deep layers when it comes to that. Oh, by the way, can we pause? I gotta use the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I normally mess with because I didn't think they either cared or mattered because I had friends that were like that. Like it was like a one-sided thing. They tell me a lot about their trauma, but when I try to do the same, they was like, oh, let's do it some other time, or like, oh man, we got to get to
They'll
here.
brush it off.
Yeah, and
That's kind of, not to interrupt, but
no, yeah,
that's kind of what in this podcast is for many things. But that's one thing that I think this is good for. I think there's many underdogs out there. There's a lot of people who've had a hard time starting this incarnation, I think. And, I guess I could say I believe in reincarnation.
yes, I do. I do believe that a lot. Yeah.
I think, there's something really strange, really crazy, really big, much bigger than we could possibly maybe even explain, articulate, comprehend on some levels. And that, there's something really, really strange going on. I kind of lost my train of thought. But do you know what I was saying? What was I saying?
Like you're trying, like reincarnation and overall, like the whole feeling of like the word reincarnation is like you can be reincarnated in anything. Maybe there is no, I guess. I don't. Again, I try to keep an open mind. There might be in heaven. There might not be. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you do enough good deeds, or like maybe you know what your purpose is in life, and you live a successful life, then you get to go up there. But if you don't know or can't really find that purpose, then you keep getting reincarnated until you do.
Yeah, that's one way that I've heard is I think this is through Buddhist teachings and this book that I have, which funny enough I didn't realize I actually have this book.
Oh.
And I didn't know it, and I listened to it on audiobooks. I was like, I need to hear or read this book or something. So I went and found it on online somewhere and listened to it, but while I'm packing up here, I found it. I have the book, and I'm like, "What?"
What a
this
coincidence!
Book's been sitting on my, it's very strange, but it's called the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and I think it's like a piece of like the Bhagavad. I'm totally butchering this. It's a piece of like religious text, I believe, and it's very interesting in the way that it describes reincarnation and it talks about karma. And I also heard one of my favorite comedians, Duncan Trussell, he talks about karma. He's like, one of the ways that karma would actually work is if reincarnation was real. Because if you do something shitty in this life and you get away with it, you don't really get away with it.
There's always something waiting for you
somehow. Yeah, there's something waiting for you on the other side. You think some people might think, I got away with it. Everything's gonna go dark now. Something's waiting for you. And it's going to terrify you likely because you thought it was over and it's not. And and your soul, the weight of your soul will be weighed against the weight of a feather on a scale, against a four-headed beast, and it'll be like literally against the weight of a feather. Does your heart have any weight to it? But anyway, it's some pretty profound. That's at least part of what I think.
Mine even like too. Also like, if you do something bad in, I guess, let's say this life, your next life will be a little bit more difficult, maybe a little bit more hard. Who knows? I don't really know, because I know like they say like if your life is hard, then that's just like God or is hating on you or anything. No, it's just teaching you a lesson. That's how I look at stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like if it's hard or something is difficult, that's just a lesson being taught.
I didn't used to think that, and that's another thing psychedelics taught me, is that like when something happens, I can in this motivational speech is sure. The way that I see it is that the universe is always talking to me. It's talking to me through everything. I remember one time I started to trip, started to take off, and I was you ever seen the movie Bad Guys?
Yes.
I had that on.
Oh,
and the the fox lady.
yes.
She was there, and then so was the wolf guy, and then all of a sudden they both start looking at me, and the fox lady splits into two fox ladies, and then they start like trying to say they are looking at me. They like take something like takes control of the characters in the movie. And they like it's weird stuff starts happening. Their eyeballs start moving in weird ways, like, and then they're trying to say something to me, but the only way that I'm hearing it is in like whispers. It's like,
Oh, so you can't really make out what they're saying. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like a mumble-ish thing.
yeah, and audio wasn't like quiet, but it wasn't loud either. But the actual audio of the movie was being distorted, and it's like something was trying to say something to me, but I didn't do enough.
Secret message.
Who knows?
Secret.
I think something there is. I wouldn't say it's like a profound planet. I don't know, planet changing incarnation that I'm gonna have. I don't know what's gonna happen, but there's been some interesting things that have been told to me throughout my life. There was one lady. This lady used to cut my hair back in my hometown, and I don't know why she ever said this to me or my mom or whatever when she was cutting my hair, but she said for some reason I can see his face on a billboard someday. I don't know what to say of any of that, but my life's been very, it's been unique and strange, whereas everybody's life has been unique and strange. And, I've had several things seeded throughout my life. DMT was one of them, where many times as I was growing up, the literal acronym DMT, I'd come across it many times in my life, but it was always like very spread out. And then up until the point where I decided I needed to find out what's this about. And it changed my life as a result.
Do you ever get those vibes where like you see the obvious one, like there's clearly something or someone giving you a straight like specific pathway to
They're
go.
trying to guide me.
Yeah, and you keep going the opposite direction.
Sometimes.
Like it's there, it's obvious, you see it, but it's like I want to go this way, even though like this way is like I know exactly what this is. I know what I'm doing, but it's just like
This is the way to go. This is how you progress the story right
right.
here.
This is how you get up, but like it's like
Definitely up, I would say.
yeah,
Up
but
is-
like you keep going the opposite way, and that's what I was feeling too, because I also had somebody up in Virginia working at the warehouse warehouse, and she was like, I see great potential in you, and I'm just like, you do? And I'm just like, I don't see it, or like, I don't get it. It's like, what do you see that I don't, And she was like, I see you have great potential, and I feel like you're gonna be something good one day. And I'm just like, I wish I knew what that was, because I don't see it, because I was at that point where like I'm like reality hit me like a truck, and of course, I was living in Virginia, so it was like a high wealthy state, so like things was super expensive. So, and of course, I was living with my dad and all that kind of stuff, and it was just everything was coming down on me. I felt like I was getting weighted down, and so that right there gave me like a little bit of confidence of like, okay, maybe I need to take this a little step further. So I did a skit with my friend for the first time, Keyshawn, and it felt good. And then we were going to do a podcast together, and I bailed out.
You bailed out of that one?
I bailed out of that one. I looked at it because, like, I see potential in that. Yes, I do. But at the time, I was like, why do I have like, I was getting a gut feeling I shouldn't do this. Because I feel like it was more of the money situation and like getting the followers and the subscribers rather than just doing it for my own personal reasons.
Was there a way that he like talked about the podcast or talked about the interview or talked about what would be talked about that gave you a feeling like it would be used in that way?
The ideas and stuff like, we're going to promote our clothing brand. We're going to promote our YouTube channels and stuff. And in the back of my mind, just like, our YouTube channels aren't even up there. Like, your clothing brand is like off and on, like, even if we do get that recognition and stuff, that's just gonna be a lot of stressful, stuff that we have to like keep prioritizing.
I said that's a lot of integration you're gonna have to take after your thing takes off.
Definitely a lot of work and it's definitely gonna cause a lot of stress because right now, just thinking about that kind of stuff already like made me feel some type of way. So I was like, why can't we just, we can do, I didn't say this. I should have said this. This was another thing. I didn't really say what I meant. And I just left it alone. I'd be like, I don't think this is going to be a good idea. And I never really go into detail. But in my mind, I'm just like, in my mind, I know exactly what I want to say, but I can't say it. Because I don't want them to react a different way or interpret what I say in a negative light.
Yeah.
So I don't say it at all. But what I wanted to say to him was, I don't think this is a good idea because I think we're just focusing on like the materialistic things rather than like what we truly want to do this for. Mm-hmm. And so I backed out of it. I tried doing it again with my cousin. I felt like he was like drifted off when I brought it up to him. Like he was thinking about something totally different. And he was like, yeah, we could do something like that. And I was like, okay, I want you to call me on a certain day and then we can go ahead and get started. Never got a call. So I took it as like he didn't want to do this, didn't want to take it seriously or anything like that. Again, I made everything. I made the thumbnail, I made the wallpaper, cover photo, everything, And I can already tell he was not he wasn't 100% like I was. And again, we had another one where it was me, him, and one of his friends that I somewhat knew. We named it The Mixture at the time. Again, I made everything. They came up with the name and all that kind of stuff. And they were talking about, like, one person wanted to do just anime stuff. I wanted to do, like, I guess, video game stuff. And then TJ wanted to do, it was like music stuff or something like that. I don't really know exactly. But we all wanted the different things. And I got a vibe from my cousin specifically. Like, he really wanted to... He really wanted to be like RDC World, that YouTube channel, the one that makes skits and go to like DreamCon and anime and stuff like that. He really wants to have like a group specifically, and he wants to be like that. And I'm just like, bro, let's just do our own thing. Yeah. And he went off and did his own thing. Honestly,
he took your advice.
I mean, I don't know what he's doing now, but like last time I talked to him, he was like, yeah, I got gym membership and stuff like that, And this is weird because this is also when I got my key from Indiana Iron, not sponsor, from Adrian at work. So he was like saying, you could hit us, come with us and stuff like that. I know he really wants to be a leader. I know he wants to be a leader. He does not like being a follower,
Oh, I you know what? And I do get that kind of sense out of him.
And but the difference is like, and this is another thing I learned is like there is no leader, and when it comes to a group, everyone is like participating in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. There is no one person leader leading this whole thing. It's in order to strive in life, you can't do it alone. You always have to have either like a significant other or a friend that has the same goals as you.
You've also got to be able to ask for help when you need it.
Exactly. Ask for help, or like, you can't just keep putting on this persona like, you'd be like, oh, that's okay, again, I know we're jumping different topics, but you know who Kevin Samuels is?
Not familiar, no.
He was a black image consultant.
Image consultant.
And he always wears the suits, glasses, older fellow, always talks to specifically black females. And, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I've learned a lot from him because he pretty much guided me in a way of how a man should portray himself. Like, it's not gay if you want to, follow your fingernails and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. I don't like
when my fingernails are dirty, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like them when they're that long. I don't, and every now and then if she wants to paint them or my toenails, I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this whole perspective on how...
I do believe in nail health.
Yes, nail health or like skincare routine,
Exactly. I saw you earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. Your hands?
Bro, man, dude.
That's
like,
the stuff. Like, You on top? I got something too that I used to carry in my bag, but I didn't like because it's a metal can. I don't like it to like when it gets too hot. I don't like it to like possibly leak into my backpack. So
Yeah, so I use this for my body, and I use a different one for my face.
That's good shit right there, dude.
But like,
that's how you help your body age better.
But it's just, man, dude, when I see people like sag their pants and like and just over and like try to act cool, and you know deep down and like they're not cool, and like dressing up, and people can dress how they want.
Maybe they are cool to some people, but that's not cool to you.
But like in the overall generosity, like it's not cool. I get
it. No, yeah, it's definitely a certain like vibrational. It's a certain wavelength that it's only so high.
Yeah, it's like nobody's gonna take you seriously, And there was another guy that I used to watch his videos sometime, where he was dressing up like in of course the jerseys and baggy pants, and he changed his style to more like loafers, dress pants, suits, and people were treating him differently when he transitioned to that, because before they were just like, oh yeah, we'll just not taking him seriously. But when he wears a suit, more professional, you take care of yourself and maintain, you get treated more properly. And so like I was like, there's no way it's that easy. Again, this like every day, like like I'm just thinking like there's no way it's that easy. So I didn't try it, but like I changed my outfit like today. I wore black pants. I wear this shirt or maybe like a hoodie. Maybe next time I'll probably wear like a like a what is it called? It's not like a suit, but it's like a outer, kind of like a vestish kind of thing. But it looks like a suit in and of itself. But I was gonna wear that next time just to see, and I was getting looks even when I was paying attention to conversation, but I was also looking around because there was a woman in the distance back there. She was like looking at me every so often, and I just felt the vibe just change from before, because when I wear like other like I guess baggy clothes or jerseys or just doesn't look like I take care of myself that well. I get treated differently, and I don't want to get into the nitty gritty, but like a lot of people like to use the same old excuse or Joseph Cooley's like, oh man, this person's racist or this, that, and the other. I was like, bro, I'm getting tired of hearing that word all the time, bro. It just makes me mad, honestly.
This is why I say like part of my belief is like we all come from the same place. We're all made from the same stuff, but we're dropped through our own biological filter, which is like our life and our life experiences, the way we grew up, the environment that we grew up in, the way our parents grew up. That it's a literal lineage. It's like a tendril that explores the universe through our lives, and it can create more tendrils at any point in time, and those tendrils have identities, and they call themselves things. They have names. They're given names, and we're told to act a certain way, especially if we're a certain color, and sometimes our names, just our name, sometimes will guide our fate in some profound way. My name and my brother's name both come from the Bible. I've heard it so many times. People know the story of my name, and I'm like, "What's the story?" I don't even know it that well.
Exactly. Like it's just insane. Like there's so many like they just take your overall image face value, and like my mom named my middle name based off of a character in the Bible, Zion.
Zion.
Yeah,
Zion.
Yeah.
What's the?
I don't know. I don't know.
I almost did it.
It's crazy.
Did it.
I see a lot of buildings every time we're going around. I see Zion everywhere. I'm just like, what does that mean?
Like Mount Zion.
Yeah, and stuff like that, or just Zion. There's also a church that was called Zion. But I start to realize the more deeper I watch these specific people that like image and care and all that kind of stuff, the more I start to realize I'd be like, man, this is like, I've been looking at the wrong thing the whole time. And like they said, like I'm gonna start, changing my life, like New Year's resolution and stuff like that. And you never do it. Same with like, like I'm gonna stop watching or listening to this stuff, but you keep going back to because a lot of people, and me included, sometimes I was afraid of change. Or
No.
feeling like being out of your comfort zone because you're so used to being in
Yeah,
that small
yeah.
box, or that your bubble, your personal bubble. And yeah, man, it's honestly your peace is what they call it. You know, you try to keep your personal peace is really your own self destruction because you're not widening your variety of different things. You know, like there's a lot of stuff outside that that's just there waiting for you. Just like the different pathways. Like there's a pathway obviously that you see that wants you to go in this direction, but you choose to keep going in this direction because you want to make your life a lot harder when it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be.
And in some ways, it's kind of what led me up here. Like I remember what got me out of Arkansas was I was working at I was working dietary for a nursing home, a really nice one, and was doing a lot of space traveling,
Space.
spacewalking and whatnot, and I just remember going. I was able to go home. I was able to walk home on my lunch break because it was my studio apartment was like 5 minutes away. I could walk over there on my lunch break, and so I had a bike and I had a skateboard, 2 skateboards in there, and I would it's a longboard, but regardless, and I would be able to go home on lunch and then and then and then I'd go back to work, and people would be like, "You are in such a great mood," and I'd be like, I would walk outside, and the wind would like rush up and hit me, and I felt like the wind was alive, and it was like giving me a hug. And sure, it's drugs, whatever you want to call it, but it gave me this profound sense that everything's alive and communicating with me at all times. Instead of like walking out there, the wind's cold, and put on my jacket, pull my hood down. If it's rainy, I have the umbrella. Instead, I go out there, and everything that touches me and interacts with me, it feels like I'm in a soup, and the whole soup is alive. It's like I'm swimming around. The air itself has a flow, and and everything. There's particles in the air that are like just hitting me and getting in my hair and in my beard, and I'm aware of all of it simultaneously. I'm like my consciousness is like expanded beyond my body. I am more aware of what's around me and whatnot. And I remember this one time, not to derail it a little bit, but I remember this one time I was, I guess you could say, deep in the sauce. One thing I like that
Deep in the sauce.
one thing that me and her like to say is saucered up, because when you're under the influence of a chemical like that, your pupils dilate.
Oh.
And they look like nickels if you're deep enough. And when I remember I was looking at her, and she just like, the way she looked was like completely alien, but she looked unfathomably beautiful. Like her skin was like iridescent in 4 different colors at once, and her eyes were like.
Is it like that one Katy Perry song, E.T.?
I don't know. I don't think I've heard of that. I haven't heard that song.
Okay, so pretty much like she's long story short, she gets in contact, or she gets in love with this one guy who we thought is an astronaut, but she thinks he's an alien, but she's actually an alien. And every time she gets closer and gets more connected, her body changes. Like at the end of the song, she has like a human upper and then had like a deer-ish lower body, not like 4 legs, but just 2.
Yeah,
2
like
deer
a
legs,
minotaur or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it was definitely strange. Is it anything like that, or is it just in the face area?
Well, I didn't really look too much at like the rest of her body or her hands. I was focused on her face. 'Cause
Okay.
She was like looking at me, and I was locked on her. And
Locked in.
she just looked alien but beautiful, and like her hair was snaky. It was like moving.
Like Medusa?
It was moving like it was alive. Yeah.
Ooh.
And she, the way that she smiled, and like I remember the way that she smiled, it was like many layers of her face showed how happy she was. I remember this one time when she was I'm going to try and condense this so it's not TMI, but she had snapped her favorite bra, like the wire in it had snapped or something like that. And I remember I was saucered up at the time. This is another different occurrence, and I remember I saw her face, like I saw the layers of it change, like in 6 different ways. Like the sadness deepen on her face, and I was I was like, you look so sad. I was like, I could see you look so sad right now, because like it was like I think her favorite bra or her only bra, one of the two. But either way, it's very interesting how it makes your perspective altered or deepened or enhanced or whatever's going on there. And but also the interesting thing about DMT is like our brain produces it endogenously, sorry, and it secretes it, a certain level of it. We believe this. I don't know if this is exactly science. I may look it up. But if I understand correctly, our brain secretes like a baseline level of it at all times, and it helps us perceive reality. Because now, what's interesting about that is, let's say, for example, when I would perhaps allegedly use something like this, what may happen is, for example, one of the craziest experiences that I allegedly might have had is I was in my bathroom, that one over there, and I was looking in the mirror, and it's like a cabinet mirror, and I faced the mirror more towards me. And
is it just one, or is it like 3?
It's just one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
And it opens like this.
Gotcha.
It's got one hinge on one side, or 2 hinges on one side.
Okay.
And but I faced it towards me, and I remember I used the device, and I remember I was looking at the mirror, and I was like, "Don't look away! Don't look away! Don't look away!" Normally, what you want to do under a DMT experience is you want to, however you consume it, you want to lay back and close your eyes after you exhale, because now you haven't had any experiences with any psychedelics, have you?
I did edibles before.
Just marijuana?
Yeah.
Some time ago?
I did those like a long time. Well, 2 different occasions. One was with my quote unquote friends that did it in brownies, and the second time was at work.
Was it interesting? How did that go?
So I don't smoke or anything, but so they said smoking and eating it is two different things.
It is.
So I didn't really feel it the first time. He gave me a pretty big dosage too. It was like probably like this big
of a brownie.
So I ate the whole thing, and nothing happened. I'm just like, is this actually working? 'Cause I don't feel nothing.
That's very interesting. And usually, not to interrupt, but usually what they say is like, you've got to
wait it out.
Usually the second time.
The second time.
Usually the second time around. Even if you're smoking it, if you're a newbie, if I understand, this is going to be, I'm going to be ad-libbing now. But usually what I think is going on is, your brain has receptors. It has receptors for these things. We have endocannabinoid receptors. Our brains literally can produce cannabinoids, which is cannabis, and it's produced through, I don't know if you would guess it, but running. The runner's high is an endocannabinoid high. Those runners out there that are enjoying runner's high while they run are getting naturally high off of what their body produces as an endocannabinoid, not like a cannabinoid that's coming from a plant. But anyway, as you were saying.
So as far as like the whole experience, so I didn't really feel anything. So I'm just sitting there just waiting for something to happen. And so my friend was like, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take me another piece because I don't feel it either. So he took another piece. I didn't take a second piece. But when I ate my Taco Bell, that's when shit just hit the fence. Because it activated the moment I started eating. I don't know when. But like everything was good.
The burrito, you're like,
I'm eating my food, half of the burrito, and then like I'm just tripping balls now at that point. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck happened? Like what do I feel right now? It was weird, bro, because I don't even know. Everything was slow. Everything was just quiet.
Distorted.
I want to say distorted. It was definitely like slow. Like I felt like I was like a sloth, just going in slow motion, and like, but I was also like really dehydrated too. Like I've always needed water. Like every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, I'm just like, bro, I'm fucking thirsty, man. And my other friend, A, I'm just gonna call him A. he was just chilling there, just laughing, and his laugh was making me laugh, and I'm just laughing, and I'm just tripping my balls off, and every time I'm laughing, I felt like I was using a lot of energy, and I was like, yo, man, can you give me another bottle of water? And he kept giving me Gatorade. And so I'm just sitting there just tripping balls. I'm just like, yo, and then A was like saying, man, R has been in the bathroom for this amount of time. And I was like, okay, let me go check on him. I get up. I'm just like, it was like slow motion. Like, I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? So I'm going to the bathroom, and I just see him on the fucking floor, just in the fucking curveball position. And I was like, dude, you good? And he's like, yeah, just give me like 15 minutes. Eyes wide open, in the balled up position, just on the floor. I'm just like, bro. So I'll go back to A, and he was like, well, what is he doing? Is he taking a dump, or is he taking a number two? He's like, no, bro, he's just on the floor, just vibing, I guess. Yeah. He's like, it's like, damn. And I was like, well, it's a good thing we're spending the night, right? He's like, no, y'all gotta leave. I was like, what? What? He's like, yeah, I didn't say y'all could spend the night. So we're tripping balls. This is like 9:30ish, 10 o'clock at night.
You're stranded. What, are you going to operate a vehicle? Good luck.
Well, my friend can't drive because he took two. He took two big pieces of edibles.
Is that the one that was on the floor?
Yes. The only person that was sober was A. He was sitting there playing the game, and he was just watching this whole thing unfold. Yeah, he was just laughing, and I'm laughing, and
Lord.
He's in the bathroom. He comes out the bathroom, and he sits down, and he doesn't move an inch. Like, he was just sitting there, like, he looked like a statue. And he was like saying, so when are y'all gonna leave? And I'm just like, bro, we're too fucked up to leave. What you need? He's like, well, you're gonna have to leave. Y'all can't stay here. So we had to leave his car because, of course, he can't freaking drive. So I had to drive us to his house, and I had to drive myself home. And that whole experience in and of itself, too, was a freaking trip because I'm thinking the red lights were green and the green were and the green were red. So I'm just sitting there at the light. I'm just like, is this actually red or is it green? And there's a car behind me honking me. I'm just like, okay, I guess it's green, so we gotta go. Bro, R right next to me was sitting there just stiff like this with his eyes open. He's like, are you good? He's like, and I'm just like, yeah, man. I don't even know what to feel. He's like saying, you good? You good? You good? I was like, yes, man. I don't know. We got to his house. I was gonna try to sleep there at his crib. He went straight to his room, had the lights off, and I'm thinking he's like going straight to bed. I tried sleeping on his couch. Big ass hump on the fucking couch. I'm thinking like, okay, that might be comfortable. Bro, it fucked up my back. Like, it was literally making a whole hill on my back. So I was like, I can't stay here. I'm going home. So I go back in the room where he was sleeping in. I turn on the lights. This man was literally on the floor with his eyes wide open the whole time. I was like, are you going to be okay? He's like, yeah, I'm probably going to be here for a bit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to head home. He's like, okay, you going to come pick me up tomorrow so I can get my car, right? It's like, we'll see what happens if I'm not fucking tripping balls the next day. I drove home. Surprisingly, I got home safe. I honestly don't even know what happened from his house to my house. I know I slept in the basement, so when I got down the stairs, it felt like the stairs felt like it was longer than it was normally. So it felt like I was like going on like an infinite staircase going down into the abyss. And I went to sleep, and my awareness was just all over the place. Like, I had no awareness of anything. Like, everything was so quiet, slow, calm. I did not like that feeling. I like to be alert. I like to know my surroundings.
Yeah. That was too debilitating.
Yeah.
Did homeboy who had two brownies, did he get better as a person after that?
Honestly, bro, I don't even know. He's still acting the same like he was when he was sober. So I mean, I don't know. He's an overall stoner for sure. So he definitely smokes and he definitely like does all that stuff. So I don't know.
I haven't got to have an edible experience like that yet, but I believe that would be interesting. But
oh my gosh,
I'll tell you what though, that is different.
Don't eat Taco Bell.
It's the on button.
So I don't know, like, because I think because if you don't eat nothing, it probably takes a long looking for a hit. So if you do eat something on top of eating that edible, then it might just trigger automatically. Because I'm guessing it's like I don't know what the right word is.
Well, what I was gonna say earlier too was like, the first time you eat or smoke it, I don't think the reason that it doesn't work right away, or at least the first time, is because your body's gotta basically build the neurons to interact. It can interact with it, but it's gotta build them first. So you're gonna hit it, you're gonna inhale it, and maybe you're not gonna inhale it that well or whatever. Especially if you eat it, you're getting it in there. But if you inhale it, you may not really inhale it. Just depends on the situation. But if you eat it, it's going in. And I still think if it didn't work the first time for you, that might have been the case. And then the second time, especially if you're on an empty stomach, my belief is actually the opposite, where I think if you're on an empty stomach, it's going to hit you harder.
It probably does, because like,
But
especially
it's funny that
I think also because like I'm eating it, so my mind and my body thinks it's just regular brownies. It doesn't know it's like infused with anything. So like when I try to eat something else on top of that, it'd be like, okay, well, this bottom one is definitely not food. I mean, it's food, but it's not food. And so like it's kind of like your imagine like a bong, for example. Like your gut is like the liquid and stuff here. And so when you're eating something, it goes in your stomach, and of course it digests it and stuff like that. But like the fumes and stuff kind of like spread out, or like the whatever the properties of that specific thing is, it like traverses itself throughout the body. That's the vibe I was getting. And on top of the Taco Bell I ate right after that, and it pretty much just like
into the stomach line.
Yeah. So, but the second time. Man, the second time, like, that shit hit me instantly. Because not only I was, getting my... by the way, this warehouse is a trip. But she was selling them inside the warehouse. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she had a whole business in there. It's like, if you buy two, you get one,
oh my goodness.
half off.
Lord.
So I bought 2 cookies from her, thinking, like, and it's actually it's like in a little small container. One container has 2 little small cookies. The other one also had 2 and all that. So sometimes she sold brownies and stuff like that too. Sometimes she sold cakes as well with THC, THC and stuff.
Nice.
It's insane. So I took the cookies home. I was so scared to eat it because of my first experience. And my dad was like, "Are these regular cookies?" I was like, "Do not eat those. do not eat those." Even though like he's also like a heavy smoker. Well, not heavy, but like he does smoke. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, so these are special cookies." I was like, "Oh yeah." It's like, "Oh, you got it from your job?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, okay, nice." So I ate one. I think I ate. Oh jeez, I ate half of it, and I was high for like a whole week straight.
What?
Every time I go into work, I'm just like, am I high or am I not high? I'm just in there like I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I'm saying it out loud. And so when I'm around other people, and specifically the person I got the cookies from, she was like, "Oh, you're high, aren't you?" I was like, I don't know. It's like, "Yeah, you are." I was like, "Oh my God," on the clock. And I'm just like, and I'm not the only one. Almost 90% of people in the world.
Everybody else was buying those cookies. They were too.
And not only that, dude, like this warehouse, like they don't test you for that.
Oh Lord. Well,
so everybody was damn near like
sense, man.
every single day. Well, there was this one dude that was like
No,
drinking every single day. Like sometimes he drinks on his fucking his 30-minute break.
Well,
It just comes back.
If they let him in, he just like goes in there and kills it. I mean, well,
But
can you blame him? That's what they call
I could just smell the alcohol every time I come up to him. He was like, "You were drinking?" It's like, "Yeah, man, I was drinking like a good fifth."
That's what we call a functioning addict.
But the whole experience and she was like, "Was it a whole cookie or was it half a cookie?" And she was like, "Half." I was like, "You're still high?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, I don't do this." And she was like, "Okay, well, hopefully you're gonna eat the other half soon." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "Well, they are cookies, so they will,
Expire at some
yeah."
point.
So I was like, "Oh shit." So I got and I came up to my friends that same day, and it was like, "Bro, you good?" I was like, "I don't know, am I?" I was asking myself a million questions.
Still so confused about it.
Yeah, just
Oh,
everything. Man. So I ate out of half. That lasted for like not half a week, but like that was like not a whole week, but like half a week, maybe like 2-3 days. The second half, so it wasn't as bad as the first one. And then after that, I was like, yeah, I think I'm done with this experience. I think I'm gonna retire.
That really is like a sometimes thing, you know, when that intense, just like other psychedelic, like doing mushrooms at a high grade, like 5 grams of mushrooms is the heroic dose, and that is a lot of dried mushroom, and then LSD, you know, you can get it on a little tiny square of paper, and one is enough to be a very profound and powerful experience. And you know, I've only ever done it one little tab at a time, but I wanted to do more, and I don't know if I'll ever get that chance. But I do have plans for the future. Like hopefully as things loosen up and regulations change. I've heard a lot of progress in terms of psychedelics helping with mental health and actual healing and all sorts of other things. But yeah, there is a difference in that what you experienced and what I've experienced.
Oh boy!
And this is like I intend to fill this up as I go and have future experiences, but I got this thing for the purpose of filling it up with DMT and other psychedelic experiences. Specifically, right now, it's only DMT experiences, but I also put some drawings in there. Ooh. And because when I, remember I told you, me scrawling to try and get something down,
yes.
Those dreams, the only other time that's ever happened was when I had my first DMT entity encounter.
Entity encounter?
Entity, yes. Where I actually met seemingly another intelligent being, creature, thing, something. And this is how it happened. When it was like maybe early in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning, studio apartment, and I was sitting in this chair. It was like a weird wicker basket fucking chair, and I hit the stuff. It's dark, and yeah, it was so dark that the only thing I could see was the pipe. And as I was hitting it, and as it was starting to work, because it works instantaneous. It works gosh. Like mushrooms and acid will creep up over like an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes more. Especially because your brain's gotta like create receptors to collect it and catch it. Mm-hmm. Maybe sometimes, you know, in those cases they work the first try. What I hear about marijuana is that it does take like more than once at least. But anyway, yeah, they take a couple hours to take effect, kind of like an edible would.
Right.
But DMT, in the way that I was using it at the time, allegedly, and, was I would vaporize it in a method and inhale it, and then when it works so fast that when you exhale, especially if it's a cloud of smoke, you better start praying. If you see if you exhale a cloud of vapor and none of it's been burnt, you better get ready to meet God, because that is how I have felt the one time I've ever done that, and it's happened to me. And I was in a vehicle, and I wasn't driving.
Oh,
I wasn't driving. I was just in a safe place,
living over the edge. I see.
Okay. I was in a safe place, and I was like, I want to see what. Yeah, allegedly, and I want to see what happens. And my vehicle transformed into an alien spaceship.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say Transformer.
He started speaking to me. It was like, my name is Bumblebee.
Alien spaceship. Okay.
But anyway, that's another experience. Regardless, I've had many experiences with this. And anyway, so entity encounter. Oh my gosh. I'm hitting the pipe. It's dark in the room. And the pipe, as it's beginning to take effect, like I said, it was what I led up to, is like as you exhale, it goes whoosh. It like comes from behind and descends down upon you, a feeling, an intense, clarity related feeling, where it's like this intense clarity. The room becomes really crisp, and it just like, as you exhale, it just goes and just fills up your entire body. Comes in from behind on the exhale. Like as soon as you exhale, it like fills up your lungs behind you. Mm. And the entire creep up that acid and mushrooms would have, like that. Instead of 2 hours, on the exhale. As soon as you exhale, that's why dosage with this stuff is so important. You got to be able to weigh it out. And I was able to weigh it out. And and so I experimented. This is what this was about. I crept up slowly. I did small dosages. I went from started with like 11, and then I went to like 15, and then 20, and then 25, like micrograms, milligrams, something like that. And it was very small amount. And so I would creep up, and I would write about each experience as I got deeper into the whole of what was going on. And and then one morning I hit the pipe, and then the pipe is like, it's like the everything around me was dark and it was black, and the only light was coming from the lighter. And you have to do this so carefully when you sandwich it with herb. You have to, because you have to vaporize it. Like I said before, you can't burn it, otherwise it'll make you nauseous. It won't go well. It'll be a bad experience, and you'll get lethargic. It's just not good. And so you got to vaporize it. And so you've got the way that you have to breathe in through this when you're trying to do this is like you have to be breathing in so slow that your heartbeat, you can see it in the cherry. That's how slow you have to breathe. You have to be so controlled and breathing so slow because you're making the cherry grow over top of this sandwich that you've created of herb, substance, herb. And then you're making the herb cook and bake over the top of it and vaporize it because you need to like vaporize it like a certain Fahrenheit. And I know what Fahrenheit. So I was meticulous in my studies.
Oh my gosh.
I'm doing something different over here when I was changing my life and whatnot, and divine intervention brought this all together. Anyway, as I'm hitting it, as it's taking effect, the dark room, it's transforming around me. It feels like as if it felt like as I was hitting it, I was transporting through every single other time, maybe in even other lifetimes that I've done a DMT experience. It's like things were flashing around me, and the pipe that I had used was changing as if it was like it used to look like this, and then it used to look like that, and then you did it in a thing that looked like this before. Everything was changing. It was as the experience was coming on, and the room was still dark. And then after I hit it out and exhaled the last time, the room's dark, nothing's happening, and I close my eyes, and then I feel something over here. I can feel it over here, and this is how I think I described it in here. It commanded my attention over here, or just off to the right. So I turned my head with my eyes closed. And then out of the blackness of my vision with my eyes closed, these like tentacles started to like fill up my vision from all angles. Like it was as if the sky was being filled with Cthulhu. You know what I mean?
Cthulhu, yeah.
The tentacles started like coming in. They started like taking shape and form with like white lines at first, white edges, and started to fill everything up. And then all of a sudden they like coalesced and collected in like this massive, almost like brain looking thing in front of me. It didn't like literally look like a brain. It just like all the tentacles like collected as if like they were amassing for some reason. And then they like almost like hands, they like peeled apart and a face came through. And I drew the face.
No
and
way.
The best that I could. And I was so desperate to like pull out of that one and draw it the best I could, but it was so intense and it terrified me. Let me describe it first. It was the way that I have described it before is like it had the many dead faces of many dead animals, because like it had glowing eyes that were like yellowish orange. And then when it fully came into view, by the way, the tentacles went from like that black tentacle with a white outline or whatever to like full on rainbows. It was like it was like color patterns running down the tentacles and flashing and changing colors, and they were everywhere. They filled up when my eyes were closed, I was in a place that was more real than this. I don't know if you can imagine that, but more real than this. And that thing was there, and it filled up everything, and its face was made of like bone, and they kept like symmetrically breaking apart, and a new like skull of a different animal
like
would emerge.
layers.
Yes, like layers. They would break apart and fall away like water, and then a new one would emerge, break apart, a different skull every single time, and it would keep changing. And people have had bad experiences where like it's like dissecting you, or where different like creatures and entities are like a praying mantis like dissecting you or something like that. But my experience was it revealed itself. That's all that happened. It revealed itself And I was like full on terrified for about 3 seconds. I didn't like scream or anything like that, but I was like, and then I started to like relax and calm down and just kind of look at it, and it just looked at me. That's it. And then it slowly faded away, and over the course of maybe like 15 minutes, and then yeah, over like the last like I would say 10 minutes or so, I was really trying to draw it, but and
It
then
was so complex and so
it was so
unique.
real and there and right in front of me, and I felt like it could have grabbed me with its tentacles and just threw me against the wall, even though I was not in my bedroom anymore with my eyes closed. Like when I was there seeing it, I was in its dimension, standing before it, and it was the size of skyscrapers. Its tentacles like spanned the landscape. I was where it was. It wasn't where I was.
Were you on a building? Were you floating? Were you?
There was definitely not a chair that I was sitting in. There was nothing there. I was just like
It's
an
like this
energy
big,
form.
tall creature. It was just like staring you deep in like your overall like. Just staring down at you, like looking at your soul and your whole.
In a
like,
way, yeah. It was like looking at me in this like, it was just like observing me in a very unique. There we go.
oh my gosh. What the fuck?
Obviously, I can't make its face change on paper, but
And like every time it like the bones, like it was like a different animal.
yeah, it just
Like
kept
all the
changing.
animals that ever happened, like in just like in real life, or just like creatures that you never seen before.
I would say almost both, but like I would say, I didn't see any like antlers, but I saw just lots of like dead animal skulls and stuff, and many. I didn't see any human skulls really, but it had eyes and somewhat of a sometimes not necessarily a human
Like
structure,
a half, like but
it had a face to it for sure. It like even though it would change, it was like a face that it was just a constantly changing face.
damn, that's oh my gosh.
And then and then I write about it, and then let's see what I said here. Oh, that's right. What led up to that experience too was I had actually just hit. I had done a smaller dose just before that, and I had like started floating up to this barrier that was made of like diamonds. It was made of fractals, and I was listening to this music of these chanting shamans and whatnot, and this being with tentacles, and it looked kind of diamond and fractal-esque. I barely kind of saw it; it was vague, but I knew it was up there. It was at the top of the barrier, and the barrier like spanned into infinity in both directions, and it was all just diamonds and fractals and colors. And I floated up to it as I was listening to the music, and I almost can't read it. I almost can't read it. It's like reading the Bible or something. I'm going to try and... Looking at the barrier, they called to me seductively to come back. At first, it commanded my presence. This is writing about the thing. Then, with many arms, tendrils drew me in and showed me its face. And it was death, the face of many dead things, evolving and cycling through. I was scared at first. Its face was frightening, but... Nonetheless, it did me no harm. Just seeing the face of this entity, as I think it had time to show me a commanding presence, many if not endless tendrils, and the constantly shape-shifting face of death. Obviously, I cannot exactly do its looks justice, however. But,
what the heck?
yeah, and then the first page is like the experience just before that. I emerged through the barrier knowing I had traveled. I saw briefly someone walk... Oh, that's... God. It's so confusing. This is all out of order. But anyway, I floated up to that barrier. That entity was above it. And the entity was using the music I was listening to convey the message. It was like telling me telepathically, step through the barrier. Come on through. He was like, come on.
And this is the same creature from...
I think so. Yeah, because then right after that, when it started to wear off, because it's like it's like 7 minutes peak, 15 minutes done. It's gone. It's over. You are in another dimension, and then you're not. In like the blink of an eye, it distorts time. Everything is so different. You are in a place more real than here, and then you're back, and you're safe. You can't do too much because you'll just nothing will happen. It'll just be black. if you do too much, and I've done too much.
Does it feel like 15 minutes, or does it feel like longer than that?
Sometimes it feels longer, sometimes it feels shorter. Time is distorted. It's very hard
So
to
time
tell.
is really just not like a thing that happens. It's just like the overall, it's just the vibe, and whatever happens.
Yeah, that's why this one time when I was in that bathroom looking in the mirror, and I was like, "Don't look away, don't look away." By the way, when I passed through the barrier another time, I saw this portal, and this hand reached through, and it was trying to get me to grab the hand and come through the portal, and I was like, it was one of my first few experiences. It was so confusing that I was like, "What's going on?" And then it was over.
So you didn't grab the hand?
No, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't, and I was like, so it happened so quick, and I was so confused. If I had like been able to be like, well, this is what's happening. There's a hand right there. I would, but it was so, these things are so profoundly strange. It's like activating a dream on command almost sometimes, where the ways the walls could just peel apart, and then things are happening so differently than you ever imagined they could, and then you have to contend with it immediately, because it might be an entity that's like opened your ceiling and is like the size of a skyscraper, and its head is the size of a mountain, and it's like looking down, and its gaze like casts a light on you that immediately like splits you into 4 different anatomical layers. Like, here's your muscle layer, here's your skin layer, here's your bone layer, and then it's like, by the way, you're holding a lot of trauma right here in the neck, and he's got a little bit of like pent up aggression down here in his like angle. That's why it's kind of pronated and it's fucked up, and it's like it's telling you what's wrong with you while it's like dissecting, and then at the same time it's probably also saying things like, by the way, this life that you're in, no big deal, especially if you're having a fucked up time, it's not that big a deal. Try and have a good time, try and lighten up, it's not that bad, and and then all of a sudden you like take another couple breaths, and then here you are. Welcome back, Marice.
You're just back.
You're back. And then, and it was more profound than any movie can try and portray something profound. Like you were talking about that crazy plot twist with the movie that you're talking about.
Yeah.
You were talking about that crazy level. Imagine whatever that is
Times 10.
happening to you
Physically.
like
And spiritually.
Imagine you hit the pin and you become a rock, and you think you're not gonna not be the rock anymore, and then 5 minutes later, you're back. You're Maurice again. But you were a rock for 5 minutes. People have hit salvia, another kind of psychedelic drug out there, and lived lifetimes that, like, for them was months. And for the camera that was recording them, it was 15 minutes. And they lived like months underwater in this underwater village and he had a girlfriend, and he had a life, and he had a job, and then all of a sudden he's back and his friends are fucking with him, and he's like, fucking leave me alone, because that's probably pretty traumatic.
Is that like maybe like, see, that's what I'm saying. It's like each individual trip is like, it's not connected somewhere. It's like a different I guess it's like a puzzle.
Yeah,
It's
a jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, it's
except
like
each jigsaw puzzle doesn't have to necessarily connect that well.
Yeah.
In terms of maybe.
But they all have something in common.
They do have something in common, and that's actually a perfect way to segue into something that I've said, I think, on the podcast before. If I haven't, it's a great time to bring it up, which is meaning.
Okay.
Meaning is, I think, something really strong and profound that connects things that don't have to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you ever watched the movie? What is it? It's like this flame girl and this water guy, and they fall in love, and it's a animated.
Don't tell me it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
No, not sure.
Okay.
No, but it's that most recent animation where it's literally a dude made of water and a girl made of flame.
Elemental. Yeah.
You know that you ever watched that movie?
Yes.
You know that moment where she's made that tempered glass dam,
Mm-hmm.
and it's and I don't know if you connected this in the movie maybe, but it's tempered glass, and it's during the time in the movie she had been holding her temper really well,
Mm-hmm.
and she had made this tempered glass to hold the dam in the water, and then later on in the movie she loses her temper and the dam breaks. Those two things were symbolically connected to them in the movie. They portrayed it to us, obviously, so we could see it happen at the same time. You know, the flashing back and forth of her getting angry, losing her shit, and then the dam breaks, literally, and her tolerance breaks, as you could say. But those things in the movie were connected by meaning. The meaning happened to be her, like, temper. Mm-hmm. Literally, her losing temper made the structure of the glass weak, and made the dam able to break. So I've thought before, many things happen in life, and they don't often make sense to us. But they're connected by something. They're connected by meaning.
Yes.
And you don't know when, like, for example, you don't know when just making the decision to go to the gym and then actually going to the gym connects through meaning in some way. And the fact that you change your life, there's another universe. This is my belief. It's infinite universes out there. There's another you in another universe living another life. And perhaps he's fucking struggling with something. And the moment you decide to change your life is the moment the rock he's pushing or the fucking weight he's lifting or the thing he's contending with gives way. And it's connected only by meaning. You don't have to know that that's happening. You don't have to know that the moment you walk into the gym, pay for the membership, and start lifting weight and decide to not decide to continue the routine instead of give up. You don't have to know that that makes way for another version of you in a different reality for it to happen, because they're connected by meaning. You and the same way that she loses her temper and the dam breaks, she wasn't there to see it or to know that those were even connected. She just, all of a sudden, she's running back to her hometown because there's a flood coming. She has no time to think about that. We have no time to think about these things, but they're happening. I think sometimes the small decisions we make, especially when they may be small but profoundly important, especially when repeated in routine and whatnot, to better yourself, to expand your mind, whatever the case may be. Opening your mind, having an open mind when you go into new experiences, changes things in a fractal way and spreads like dropping a rock in a pond, and it spreads out through universes.
Yes.
Instead of just being locally.
Oh my gosh.
And affects literally everything. That's why when I decided to change my life, my family, I think, genuinely got better. It wasn't just, they're dealing with their own problems, of course, as I told you earlier, but it wasn't just that. I think that I was doing better. I think me doing better and striving to be better, because I was also I was hardcore, I guess, black sheep or whatever. You definitely have an interesting, I don't know, it's definitely not parallel, I would say. I was a dirty thief.
I was around people that convinced me to steal as well. Most of my cousins.
No, no one convinced me. That's just, it kind of came naturally for me. I was like a cold-blooded thief. And I, along with changing the way that I ate, I had to contend with the impulse to steal. I had to stop myself from doing that. It was very interesting.
Was it were you stealing because you didn't have enough money, or did you steal because you enjoyed doing it, or?
A mixture, but I definitely enjoyed it because the way that I saw it was it was a heist.
Did it felt like a dopamine thing?
Definitely. I definitely got a rush.
I got away with this. I can definitely do it again.
Precisely.
And again, with everything else in life, everything could be a good or a bad trip.
And it can also be positively or negatively reinforced. And it wasn't that heavily negatively, deterred. Oftentimes they would know when I was just stealing weed primarily. I was just stealing weed and stealing it from my parents. And they oftentimes knew that I was doing it because it was kind of noticeable. And they didn't have very much. But still, I just it's weird the way we construct our lives and decide to do things. You ever watch Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies?
Yes.
Fucking
Roger.
Roger when he's deny.
Denies everything.
I took his advice whenever they were whenever they would try and call me out on anything. I'd just be I don't know what you're talking about.
That whole book, honestly, I think it really fucked up with a lot of kids, especially mine, and there was another book too, I forgot what it was called, but it was literally just a kid doing bad things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was it was like a little kid drew it. It was orange and had the shark teeth and everything.
Yeah.
He was breaking things.
Doing a bunch of bad shit.
Yeah. And I was like, why would they make this book for, why would they do this? And then looking back at it, it's this is a learning experience in a way. But we didn't, of course, back then we didn't understand.
To discern,
yeah.
Too, unless you feel negatively about it when you look at it. But some kids don't have to. Some kids are just experimental. They'll look at that and be like,
"Oh, this
I
is
want to know what
supposed to
happens
do.
when I do that." You know what I mean? And
maybe I won't get in trouble if I do this or that. But like you said about the meaning thing, everything every small little decision you make has a big impact on everything else. And like you said before, with your experience, when you decided to change your life, everything else changed with that. Same with everything. Every individual has its own, like, like I said before, I probably never said this, but I think life is like a video game for me.
Oh, that's funny. That's another thing that DMT kind of told me about. It was like, literally was like, this is kind of like a video game, and you're like a sim, and you're just like, you're just not doing any of the things that would make you a good sim. You know what I mean? You're not going to the gym. You're not eating good food. You're not looking for a good job. You're not trying to have a good job. You know what I mean? You're making food for old people, or you're mopping floors and cleaning toilets, and you're settling for that. And it was like, it was like I don't know what you want to call it, God or a ancestor or a profound or an angel or a guide or whatever you want to call it. But there was like, it was like my own thoughts were being. It was like my higher self was able to clearly give a message. And it was like, dude, you're like slacking here. You're leaving things on the table. You look like you live in a cave, and it's like you're living like a caveman.
But they don't flat out give you the answers, or they don't tell you about these things. You have to figure that out on your own.
Yeah, they don't.
And
really,
so it's 10 times more harder, and it makes you go into like like some people like it depends on the person.
They happen to do it well. When I say in this particular drug experience, they do it in a way that makes you feel emboldened. They do it. Now I can't say that it can't like defeat some people and maybe make them feel worse. It probably can happen, but you're already filled with a sense of bliss. They come in with a warm feeling. You get washed clean of your anxiety and your fear and your pain and all these things, and then they usually, sometimes some people, they'll say stuff. Sometimes they'll just impart a message in a weird cryptic way, but typically it's like emboldening you. It's like trying to tell you it's both like, it's maybe like the perfect scold from like I described it one time during some trips. I felt the presence of like a perfect motherly love, like literally the love that a mom should give you, and it was literally devoid of any imperfections. It was exactly as if your mom was perfect and she loved you perfectly. I was being filled with that feeling. And it felt like there was a feminine presence during many of my first trips. That was like, I remember many times I opened my eyes and I would look up at the right side of the bed, which was against the wall. And I was looking because I thought Chelsea was sitting there next to me. She wasn't, but it felt like she was. And many times I would open my eyes and like, okay, the fuck? I swear. There's like
the presence or overall vibe.
Someone just sitting there and just kind of sitting over me, just like watching. Just like, and it felt loving and perfect. And like I said, devoid of any imperfections, and yeah, and that helps out a lot whenever you are meeting perhaps parts of yourself that you wouldn't normally address, and when you do address them, and usually it kind of like puts it right in front of you. It's really like no matter how hard you try and bury some things, it will just
it'll
float
always
to the top
come
like a bubble.
Yeah,
and especially during these experiences, and it'll force you to deal with it. But that's probably what changed my life. Is when I look at the things like life's a video game, and when I look and I'm able to see, I'm not just like in the routine of suffering and eating the food and letting it pile up and letting it be a mess and letting those things affect my partner and all of those, because she's there with me at those times. But yeah, it wasn't long before I started walking to the gym, no matter how far away it was. And before long I got a bike. And before long, my person that I worked for, she wanted to like, can we move him back across the street? I don't know what his deal is, but... And that person that I told you about, the name, that's a friend of my brother's, whatnot, that's his mom.
Oh.
My boss at that time. And he told her that what I was up to, because he happened to know what I was up to, and he told her what I was up to. And I was like, why would you do that? Why would you? That's my boss. And so she knew that I was spacewalking, I guess, essentially. But she doesn't know what that even means.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's like trying to explain all of this. It's like trying to explain a kaleidoscope to a blind man. Because when you don't have these experiences, it's really hard to, like the movie you watched, it's hard to explain to someone something that insane.
Something that's so, like, you don't understand. Like, I'm trying to find the words. So, it's like, this is what you think life has to offer, but there's so many different layers that are just underneath just the overall perspective of reality, like
They're
you know, like the
over, they're
different trips,
underneath,
or
they're in
like
between, yeah.
space, galaxies, planets, stars. This is what we think is what we see, but like there's so many, like you know, like different parallel worlds, if you believe in that, dimensions,
Quantum
time,
computers.
right? Just infinite possibilities, infinite. We will not, and everybody has their own different interpretations, either from trips or
Near-death experiences.
near-death experiences, or life-altering climax effects.
Climbing a mountain, having an extremely hard exercise, losing a loved one.
That's what I'm saying. It's like everyone experiences it differently, and that's what I like about. Even though we're all similar in some way, shape, or form, we're all different at the same time, and we all
Different
have
biological filters.
yes, different lives, different. Well, I would say similar lives in a way, not completely 100% similar lives, but we all have experienced something that we've all necessarily can relate to.
We're all collecting and gathering life information. And I think, sometimes when I think about what are we here for? What are we doing? What's the purpose? What's the meaning? That's like, is there an actual one answer that can be given? Is there a 42 that I can say? Like, I think sometimes, I am here to do something profound and make change and help people, help underdogs in particular. And people that like think that there is like perhaps no hope, and that life is very slated and against you, and it's perhaps even God hates you. Whatever the case may be, I am trying to put out at least the message. I think that's all I need to do, because it feels good to do sometimes, to just like have a chat like this where we can connect on the meaning wavelength in ways that we're not really understanding, but like there is an interaction going on here where there's energy between us.
Yes.
And it's meeting in the middle somewhere, and then parts of it are going like this, and they're like touching, and they're
We're
like
slowly intertwining. They're trying to combine both of our realities, but like
realities is a good word for it, because that reminds me of I think I was trying to say this earlier, when I was tripping, and I was just hugging her, and I had my head on her chest. And when I closed my eyes, for the most part, the visionary stuff had stopped, but it started to come back when I put my head on her chest, and I was just hugging her, and I'm just like a teddy bear. A lovable dope. Whenever, because she just, it's really hard to explain how amazing I know she is whenever I'm in those states of mind. And anyway, I had my eyes closed, and I started to see like it was like a wallpaper or a landscape, kind of like I talked about that fractal barrier before.
yes,
It was kind of like that, but it was smooth, and it was these it was rainbow colors of like yellows and pinks and stuff like that, and these little spikes or tendrils would it was like a flat surface with all these colors and whatnot, and they would like spike out and come towards me, and they would like kind of like gently like shoo, and I think that was her. I think that was like
defending you in a way.
No, I think it was like just her spirit or her energy or something like that. And like, because we love each other, there was like, I was getting to see like this kind of visual representation of like almost like the interaction between us. These two like energies meeting in the middle, and it was like two different. It was like, it wasn't literally like oil and water where like they don't mix, but it was like this kind of like these two, I don't want to say fluids either, but these energies that look like water, behave like water or smoke or whatever. They were like and mixing, and it was just fascinating to see. And that's what I was talking about a minute ago when I was talking about how we're having an interaction energetically. The same thing is, we don't have to be touching each other. I don't have to have my head on your chest or anything, but there is an interaction taking place between our auras or whatever is like going, the extra layers that we don't understand.
It could be the tone, it could be the conversations we have, or just the overall vibe.
Body language, vibe.
Yes.
All these things, they are like, they're meeting in the middle somewhere, and maybe parts poke through on my end, and then when you start talking, things poke through on your end.
It definitely felt like a lot of stuff that you've been talking about, and like the pictures and everything you've been jotting down and stuff definitely gave me a wider broad of a horizon of different interpretation of how life is.
Yeah.
Especially from like your point of view, and of course, allegedly the different trips you had, and I guess I've just experienced it in a different way, maybe towards like dreams and stuff like that. But again, I can't really remember every single dream I've had.
Yeah.
But it did felt like every single dream was like a puzzle piece, but they didn't connect, but it means something in a deeper way. It was like vague, but I don't really know exactly what the overall, what I'm supposed to learn from this. And it's not like I'm going to remember anyway when I wake up, but sometimes I do remember. And so when I remember, I feel like I'm supposed to remember this one.
Do you feel like sometimes they're trying to communicate something to you?
Yeah, whether in that moment or whether it's like or I'm only supposed to remember it in that specific moment, or maybe when I do remember a dream, I'm supposed to remember it. You know, this is supposed to be
Especially
like maybe a
if it
long
just won't
term.
leave you alone. Like you just don't forget it. Like
Yeah.
with the belts, I don't. Did I finish talking?
Yes.
Did I?
You talk about the belt. He's like,
Yeah,
you
I
did
did,
finish.
yeah.
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 You knock her out.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that dream ended. But
Oh wow.
yeah.
Gotta use the bathroom again.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good, dude. We can cut some time.
I think that's how I interpret life, and that's why I was so connected and so like you give off a really positive vibe, and the kind of vibe that I like to be around, because I feel like I give off like a positive vibe in some ways, because every time I'm with people that their vibes is negative, I kind of brighten up the mood a bit. And some people have told me that, not everybody, but some people told me it's like you bring positive vibes. And I was like, yeah, but when I leave that place, it feels like I've taken the negativity with me, because I've been in I was the positive person, and they sucked all the positivity out of me, and all I have left is all this negativity.
That's a fact. That's a real thing, man. That's why, that's another facet of why I moved away from Arkansas. I was like, I was surrounded, at least what it felt like, surrounded by all the old stuff that made me who I was, and I needed a change of environment to help me change dramatically the way that I was really wanting to and striving to. And so, yeah, getting up here, it inspired my family to make positive changes. All of my brother, my mom, and my dad, they've all made interesting, unique, positive changes since I've left. And I even remember when I left at like midnight, and I drove 12 hours all the way up here because like I stopped at church parking lots and took a nap for a couple hours. It was dark, and but I remember before I left, I told them, like, find your new 100%. Find like whatever you think you are right now. There's like a whole new you underneath it all, and I know it's like cliche to hear, and I've been listening to a lot of motivational speeches or whatever you want to call it, but there is an entirely different universe for you to live, because, and I didn't say all of this, I summed it up with just basically finding your new 100%, but what I meant by it was like, essentially, look at me, look at what I've done over this past little bit, and look what I'm about to do, and even though I didn't even know what I'm about to do, just take a look, clearly this is not, what anybody expected, even me. We thought I might, be rocking on the edge of jumping off a cliff or some shit. And now I'm like, no, this is the beginning. I'm starting everything brand new. I'm going to lose all this weight. I'm going to be able to do stuff. I'm going to be able to defend myself and protect people and inspire people, and I'm going to. And then now we've gotten this far, and I'm like, I'm going to start a podcast, and I'm going to start talking to people. And then as soon as I started a podcast, also, that was a pressure from the universe to do that. I did not, by any means, was like, and some of the stuff you said, like, doing it for a profit, it did not come to me like that. I just listened to podcasts for a while, and I had all these sorts of thoughts, and, whenever I would share them with anybody, it would be like, the reaction you had, like, intimidated is not what I ever expected to hear.
No, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, intimidation, it's not like it's not a bad thing. It caught me off guard for sure, because I'm just like, I had another friend that was like kind of similar to you. His name is John. He lives in Virginia, but he used to live in, I think, Pennsylvania or something like that. And he would, of course, people thought he was doing psychedelics as well, but he was just like, he's like, no, man, I don't need to read the Bible or anything. It's like, it feels like I already kind of get the gist of what the Bible is and stuff like that. But in my mind, I'm just like, I'm just curious because I was like, what does the Bible say? People said they read the Bible. I don't know, did they actually read the Bible? I read a few pages, and just the overall first few pages was like, it's already interesting. Um, I won't go too much into the Bible and stuff like that.
No,
I
we
don't.
can if you
I'm
want
about to say, I
to.
don't know people's religion and stuff like that. I don't
We
know,
talk
like,
about all sorts of religion. That's why I bring up Buddhism, because I don't know if that's the one I favor, but I often am drawn to some of what I read in there. It's interesting, and it's no different than the Bible too. I know some Bible stuff because my name and my brother's name both come from it.
because another thing too is like I was like, man, churches aren't really my thing. I gave them a try. My mom took me to local Bible study and stuff like that. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Some people would say right here what we're doing is church. Continue.
True. I think the reason why I don't like going to churches is because I don't really understand why those exist in a way. Because like I was like, I thought the whole point of like getting close to God and stuff was to getting close to nature and stuff like that. That's why think going outside is important. Getting fresh air, like you described, when you go outside, it feels like air and everything is like touching all around you.
Oh yeah, everything's interacting with
yeah,
you all the time.
it
It's just
feels like you're one with everything.
Yeah,
in a
and
way.
I liked that dream you were talking about, where it's like going outside. It's like the change in environment. How I was picturing that room, that box that you were describing was like, I don't know if this seems accurate in any way, but what I would picture is like black and white, gray. It is very featureless, simple room.
Sometimes it has color.
Sometimes it has color.
Sometimes.
And then when you step outside that door, I imagine a white plain door. And then when you step outside that room, I imagine the fields like you described, and then the sun and the sky and some clouds. And I imagine that is far more inviting and interesting. And if that's a dream, what is that telling you symbolically? That's often what I lean towards when I think about my dreams, is like, what's it trying to symbolically say? Because often, and this is how I often describe what DMT trips might be trying to tell me or other people, is they can't often. Sometimes you will have words. Sometimes you might meet a dead relative. Sometimes you might meet your grandpa and he'll shake your head because you're fucking doing drugs. I don't know, like if you're doing meth. That was someone told me about that. It was interesting. I feel like some kind of weird psychotherapist.
Really?
They were telling me about their brother's like DMT experience, and they were like, he saw, or maybe it was mushrooms. I think it was mushrooms. But he saw like their grandpa or something like that, and he was the grandpa like just like appeared and like shook his head and whatnot. And as this person was telling me this story about her brother or whatever, I was like, because I've done so many psychedelics and I almost like know this pattern of like, I think he really did see his grandpa. They think it's hallucination. I think he actually saw his grandpa. And then what my actual thought was like, well, why would he shake his head? And so what I asked her was like, was he at a good place in his life at that point? And she was like, oh no. and I was like, of course not. Of course not. Because if your grandpa was alive and saw you how you are right now, he'd be shaking his head. And he probably is.
Now.
He still exists. His body is dead, sure, whatever. But he's still real.
His aura,
he
his
still
spirit.
exists, yeah. And he can still gaze down upon you every now and then if he wants to. And then when you happen to be connected to the sensation or the wavelength, then your mind is expanded and touches the field that he is on, the field of love and all that. Whatever is going on that these psychedelic experiences allow you to connect to, they allow the experience often and oftentimes. I don't think I've experienced. Sometimes I wonder if, no, it doesn't seem like that was any of my relatives. That seems like that was me. But either way, yeah, they're so few and far in between on how different they are. Like they're so wildly different that you never know what to expect. Seeing that hand extend out of the portal that I drew, seeing the entity that was like death. Why would I see?
Like it's just instant. It comes instant, but you don't have time to react or try to figure out. It's like, should I take it? Should I not?
That's another good point. No, there really is no time to react to anything. That you just that's why I say prepare. Like you need to prep to meet God. That one time in the car when I was listening to a song, I'll show you the song and whatnot. It was I don't know why on earth did I pick that best song. Oh man! But as soon as it started playing, the drums took off, and then I exhaled a cloud, and that's why I was describing the cloud earlier. And I went, I was wearing a work jacket, and
Right.
I was in a car, and I was outside a gym, and I was like, I just want to. Anyway, I saw the cloud, and I was like, oh no! And I started taking the jacket off as quickly as I could because I've done this many times, and like, if I'm a little too hot, I'll get nauseous, and I don't want to get sick. And anyway, so I started peeling the jacket quick, and then all of a sudden I just kind of, my vision just, everything warped, and I was like, here it comes.
Oh no!
I closed my eyes with one sleeve out, and I went.
Oh my gosh!
And it was enough that I don't remember what happened. There's tiniest fragments of what happened, and it was insane, but I can't remember it anymore, and it's gone. And all I remember now is that when I came back, I was driving a truck at the time. When I came back, it looked like I was in some fucking Mercedes. I was in a nice vehicle. I was like, ooh, damn! I was like, I am decked. Like everything was off, but like the lights were like shimmering, and I was like, ooh. But yeah, and then it wore off, and the music like did its crescendo and came back down, and I was like, dude. Sometimes I remember that right there, that feeling where I'm like, oh, and I like take a breath out. Is the same feeling that might be better described when the first few times I did it and I was using a pipe. I remember it was so like earth shattering. The experience was so earth shattering, like leaving your body and then just being like. Sometimes it felt like I'd come back like this, like here's like me and my body. It's like this formation, this culmination of spirit and mass, meat.
Right.
And then I would do the chemical, and it would be like this. I would just like separate and then float off and then have this experience. And sometimes this is how it felt coming back. Sometimes it'd be like this. I'd float back and I would like, I remember getting up out of bed and like stretching, and it felt like I was putting my skin back on. It felt like I was putting my body back on, and I was like pulling the fingers of my gloves and of my energy into my fingers, and like putting on a glove. And I was like, oh, this feels kind of good. I don't know what's up, but this is great. But sometimes I would come back like this. I would be gone on a journey somewhere doing who God knows what, and I'd come back like this.
Oh gosh!
I'd come in like a meteor, and then when those particular returns, I would go into the bathroom. I would take all of my clothes off. I would get in the shower, and I would hold on to the side of the tub like this, and I'd be like the world was spinning 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'd be like, just like hit with hot water, and I'd be like, I just need to hang on for a minute.
Bro,
everything's
what?
gonna be fine. And I was like, I just need to hang on for a minute. Everything's gonna be fine. Give it a few more minutes, and then a few more minutes would pass, and I'd come out, and I'd be like, and she'd be like, "You okay?" And I'd be like
everything's not fully synchronized yet and stuff. Like it's just like your body's not. It's in one direction. Your body's in your nuts. It's like you're still trying to come back together.
Exactly. Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. Those times I was launched into crazy experiences and come back like a missile. Like I take off like a rocket ship and come back like a fucking hellfire missile, and just boom. And then I'm like opening my eyes, and some of the blinks are black and darkness from my eyelids, and then some of the blinks I'm like flickering back into the reality for half a second. This other reality, I'm like, what's happening? And then, so it's a profound chemical, and our brains run on that shit. God. So what's going on there, man? We don't know. But we're starting to, I think, peel into it a little bit. But this is why I try and like educate who I can about it, because if you're having a hard time expanding your mind, it takes 15 minutes. It takes 15 minutes to become aware that there is multiple universes. That if you have doubts, you should now if you're schizophrenic, if you're taking now I do some research.
Oh,
If
boy.
you're taking SSRIs, you can't do psychedelics because of the interaction of the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, and you don't want like serotonin syndrome, and certain medications interact with psychedelics and whatnot. So you need to be careful. You need to do your research. This is why I do my research. I always talk to my friends. I always find out what they're up to. Are you taking any medications currently?
No.
Okay, good.
Oh,
So anyway, so I always
Oh my gosh.
I'm always curious because I when I don't believe in medications. You know, I don't know if you've had a bad experience, but so have I. I went to a wacky bed for 7 days, and they put me on a med that they wanted me to take every morning in a little cup. And I remember from the moment I stepped in there, I was like, I am not like one of these people. This dude wants to hurt somebody. This motherfucker over here is throwing a chair at the window, trying to break it. He's trying to escape.
Trying to leave this torture, this prison.
Yes, this orderly over here sicked this child. This literally did happen. This orderly sicked a violent child on another disobedient child because they can't get their hands on the children. So he was like, I don't remember his name, but let's just say Dakota. He just said Dakota, and then Dakota comes flying down the hallway, and he just tackles this kid that's totally just like a nutcase. And I'm like. And I was sitting there reading like a Doctor Who like manga book or whatever, and I'm like, I think I need to get out of here. This place is not what they told me it was either. They told me it was a lot.
They have ulterior motives for
They
sure.
sold it much better than it was. They said there was animals to pet. There was no animals.
So, so my experience with my epilepsy. First of all, when my mom told me I was diagnosed, I'm the first in my whole family lineage to have this. We don't know where it came from. I even asked my mom, "Did you drop me as a kid at any point?" And she was like, "No, I did not." I was like, she also had breast cancer and stuff, but like I don't think that's anything
Were
to
you
do with it.
breastfed?
Yes. But I also thought maybe this epilepsy probably came from, I guess, trauma. Because again, like when we're kids, we observe and we look and we absorb knowledge that we see that's in front of us, whether our family or parents or anything around us. So maybe I probably gained some trauma that I don't even realize it was trauma, and it manifested into epilepsy. I have no idea.
Did you? Were you ever in the like that? What's that
Special classes? Yes, I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Would
They okay, so in they thought that having epilepsy was gonna mess up my whole cognitive.
Now, was it like special ed, or was it like
It was special ed.
or was it like the gate, or was it like the where they literally thought you were like special? And
They thought I was
took you to a
special and they
different
put me in
class?
special classes.
But was it like an easier class, or was
It
it,
was-
like
it was-
or was it an odd class?
It was pretty easy. It was way too easy because they thought I was like super special.
They thought
'Cause
like maybe you had some damage.
Yeah, especially because I guess I get from what my mom told me, I was getting back-to-back seizures. So I think I was like having speech problems too. I was also in a speech class, and I was aware of the whole situation of me in speech classes and of course special ed and all that kind of stuff. And I was quiet, but I was also trying to figure out. I was like, this is too easy. It's like, what's going on here? Do I need to be in, like, all the other kids were like in like these regular classes. I thought they were like in like college based classes, and this is elementary school. They were like in like more tougher classes, and I'm still in these. And with no offense to the people that were in the same class as me, but they were like, they were special and unique. And I was like, I don't think I need to be here.
Similar situation.
Yeah.
I don't belong here.
But like, I don't know how I can leave. It was kind of like an asylum in itself. Like I was like, I don't know how to leave, or I don't want to go crazy, and then I'm stuck here. Like, how do I leave without having to? I guess, what do I got to do to prove myself that I don't need to be
How do I
here?
rebel against this?
So after a long time, they gave me a test, in school, like, to see what my knowledge is at, like, there, and I scored really high. So it was like, okay, yeah, your son does not need to be in these classes anymore, and they put me in regular classes. But I still remember those times, even in I think I was in special ed class in middle school, because I was still getting seizures every so often. So they thought maybe like, oh, maybe he's gonna have like a issue learning or this, that, and the other when it comes to different subjects. So they put me in the easy special ed math class, and I was acing that kind of. So they put me in a more advanced class, normal class, I would say, because they had like trig. Well, no, middle school. Well, sometimes they had college classes, but I was in regular everyday math class. So yeah, it was definitely hard for me to say that, because like every time they when people look at me or when I talk differently, sometimes, like I said before, when I know what I want to say, but when I say something totally different. Like I don't have to, I guess.
You get a good message on what's the truth, your articulation. But
Yeah, like
you actually conveying it is difficult.
yeah, it's like I have it clear of the whole sentence and everything I want to say in this specific tone and, like, I guess, professionalism. But when I say it right now, it comes off as slurs or mumbles and half-witted or different. It just goes off the rails. It goes all over the place.
I want to try and, this might not hit the mark, but
Okay.
let's see. Does it ever kind of feel like, as you're going to say the thing that you're hearing up here, you hesitate and you stumble on it, because as you go to say it, your ego gets in the way, and it goes, that's kind of stupid, don't say that, and then you like kind of like you fumble it.
I fumble it
in a weird way, and it's because you're going to articulate what is up here. But as you go to do it, like as it tries to leave your lips, you have problems with it. You have your own like reservations, your own like withheld opinions, because you're like, I can't say this.
Like a defense mechanism that's stopping me from saying what I want to say, because I jump to conclusions on what that person may, they might think it's like a negative response.
Yeah. And what some people might call brutally honest or blunt or something like that.
Yeah.
You can, or abrasive. You'll get there, that's for sure. And now see, when I hear about something like not schizophrenia. Sorry, I'm stupid. I am drinking.
No. I mean, like,
but I said schizophrenia. I don't know why, but I meant to say the. What was it that you were dealing with again? Sorry.
Epilepsy.
Epilepsy. Thank you. What is it?
Definitely changing my, like, it was definitely like a lot of different things, especially when it comes to the medication. I don't believe in pill taking, and I know, like, after that, I think, again, I don't know exactly what they put in the pills or anything, if it's actually helping me or not. That's why I was like on so many different medications growing up, and it was messing up my mood and my reactions, and sometimes I was allergic to some things. I was actually allergic to the flu shot too. I couldn't take the flu shot when I was getting the flu, so it was a lot of different things. I'm not allergic to the flu shot anymore, or at least I don't think so. I haven't had the flu in a long time.
Have you gotten the COVID shot?
Did I? I don't think so. I did the nose test.
They swab you plenty to see if you had it?
Yeah, I never had it.
But you didn't get any shots to try to prevent it?
First off, I hate needles.
Okay.
I really
helps.
I really hate needles. So like when they were doing like blood, getting my blood, I hated looking at my own blood, because I was like, what are you doing to me? Like, my body was like, why are you taking my blood? Like, I need this. Yeah.
I need that. Oh, yeah.
It's just.
I donated plasma one time.
Oh, my God.
It's. I think we can just work harder. I think we could just work harder, because maybe we could pick up an extra day, or because watching them take essential Especially if you like going to the gym and you're trying to take care of yourself and you're eating well, you're like, they're taking my life force.
Right.
They're taking the good.
You're taking a piece of me out of my own body. Like, what are you doing?
I can't watch it go. I feel like my arm is going. It's like I feel like my arm is actively dying as I watch it just go. It's like withering away. It's atrophying. And I'm like, no, please.
But the worst thing was when I got blood taken out of me one time. I didn't drink a lot of liquid, so they had a hard time trying to find a vein. So they kept like they were poking at me multiple times. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You didn't have a lot of liquid, so it's gonna be hard for me to find it." And I hated needles. I was like, I was traumatized, bro. And like, yo, this is bad. I was like, can you just hurry up? Like, do I need to drink something right now so you can, like wait a little bit? She's like, no, I mean, like, I think I found it. Took the blood out of me. It literally felt like I know it's for some reason it was different than if I did drink liquid. So, but since I didn't drink liquid, it felt worse because it felt like literally like my energy was getting sucked out of me. All the energy I had up to that moment was gone because she took my blood out of my body, and she was like, "You gonna be all right?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, I almost did, but I was like, I caught myself, and then I sat down for a bit, and I got back. I was like, okay, I'm good, because I remember a long time ago, somebody else donated blood, and they got up just fine. I was like, man, I feel great. Took a few steps on the floor. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm not donating blood. I'm good.
That's great.
I'm good, bro. And he was donating blood like almost every time they had it. It was during school. And he did every single time. I was like, "Are you okay afterwards?" Like, "Yeah, man, I feel pretty good." But that time where I fell, I was not good. Even though I was like, it's like I felt all the energy in the world, but when I just smacked down and hit my face and lost all the energy, it felt like
quick, I guess.
Yeah, it's like what is it called? There's a certain word for it. Like when people like you think they're
asleep suddenly.
No, it's definitely like a certain like thing that happens in your body, but like when somebody passes away, but like they move around like they're still there, and then they just die immediately afterwards after like a few minutes. They don't know exactly what happens or anything like that. I don't know the exact term or word it is.
That's new to me.
But
spontaneous death and dance syndrome.
I don't know it's called, but like yeah, you think like they're completely gone. You can feel the vibe and everything, but like you leave, and then they somehow come back. I guess it's like a last.
Is it? Could it also be with old people?
Yeah,
I think I might get this wrong, but I think it's like spontaneous like lucidity, where it's like, especially if they're like amnesia and like dementia and they have trouble with that and they're like they don't remember you anymore. They might, when they're close to death, this is a real phenomenon where they will suddenly become really lucid and they're able to see you and recognize you and then all of a sudden they die.
That's like I think that's different because I guess what I'm saying, like their whole body is like just moving around. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know the right term, but I mean if I find it, so I'll let you know what it is and stuff. But that whole
go ahead.
But
did that happen to somebody you know?
Not that I know of, no.
Well, I feel like I'm half dead over here. What's my deal? Do I need to put my hand up again? Look at this. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dying.
You look fine to me.
Also, I don't know if this is personal ever, but I don't know. I want to like question more about why you get these certain vibes from me and whatnot, because I don't understand like this. When we were talking earlier about how some people, like, I don't have a problem with anybody. To some people, it seems like I don't have a problem with anyone. And they're like, why doesn't he have beef with anybody? And it's because of the views that I have, you know what I mean, that I've shared with you. And so, like, just the friendship that emerged with Skylar really came out of nowhere. He just all of a sudden shared some hardcore shit with me and told me he had like just got past some serious stuff. And I was like, what? I was like, you did what? You how? You're standing here talking to me like you just defeated death, like it's not a big deal. And But still, and so yeah, where
I've
did
been,
this stem with you?
I've been around negative people for most of my life. I thought maybe I had to be other people's therapist, and I thought that was my purpose. You know, I always put them before me, and never really like understood what I wanted to do or where was I gonna go from here. And again, all that negativity was weighing me down, not realizing, be like, it should be fine. I'm thinking this is like the new norm, and longevity of it, it was not the norm. I was going through really bad depression. I felt like I had nobody to talk to about my personal feelings and what I was going through. And in a way, like I was blaming myself for everything. Like I was like, I felt like I was being selfish because I wanted people to hear me out and what I was going through rather than just me just taking up their negativity and just, not taking mine, I guess. I guess I just want that appreciation. I want that respect that I always wanted and never really got it. Or like, I did good deeds for people and I expect the same back. Expecting things that will never happen. And I just gave that up completely. I never relied on anybody. I always kept to myself. Anytime I needed help with anything, I never asked. Or like if I asked for like for instance when I moved back into my first apartment again, my brother, my sister were all supposed to help, but of course work and stuff like that, so they wouldn't be able to come until like a certain time period or time frame. And so I was doing everything on my own. And I was like, I'll just do everything on my own. Like, I mean, like, I don't need anybody. I didn't think I needed anybody. I thought maybe I had to do something on my own. Maybe that was a sign at the time that I thought maybe I needed to just do everything on my own. And when I moved in, got my place, I felt tired, drained because of all the moving and, big furniture and stuff I had to do on my own. And, and again, that was like before I realized with the whole, with the dolly, with the fridge and it landing on my leg, I was like, this was a realization, like, you can't always rely everything alone. And what made it even like worser for me to like it hit twice as hard was when I moved to Virginia, having a new fresh look on reality, life, because I'm in a place that I don't really know that well. I've been here for most of my life, so moving to Virginia is definitely like a new, fresh relief, a new fresh coat of paint. Living with my dad and living there and learning a lot of things that I guess I needed to learn from my father's point of view. Teaching me how to budget and stuff like that, and stuff like my mom never taught me. She was like saying you're too young for this, or you'll learn when you're older. And I was like, when? In the back of my mind, when is that gonna be? And I'm 21, don't know anything about credit cards and stuff like that. Yeah, it's bad. So it was bad. So my dad literally just like put that in me and be
Now's the
like,
time.
yeah, it's like, yeah, you need to learn this. Like he taught me. What I learned is fathers are more logical, straightforward. Like they try to get the task done and all that kind of stuff. Females are more nurturing, careful, and they don't have the backbone like the man has it.
You have a lot of that's some pretty accurate perspective, because like when I look at when it comes to me and my fiance, my wife, actually I say all the time, we're not officially married, but here's the official story. She's my wife. That's as we discussed.
I
off
assumed
camera.
y'all were married already.
Yeah, but as we discussed off camera, I'm a little selfish. You know what I mean? So, but that's my point with like, at least with that, I have a very special relationship with that person, and I'm kind of trailing off again. But the main point of that is just, I don't especially think that sharing, it's everybody has a unique experience, and I'm not interested in that.
Can I ask a question?
Go right ahead.
Do you feel like your girl is like the mother you always wanted because she cares for you so much compared to how your mom?
She's pretty fantastic. We had this discussion. This is sure. I might as well say this. Doesn't matter. She's not. Anyway, she's a traditional housewife. She does not. We've had this conversation. She doesn't want to have a job and to have to go out and do those things like that, and for many reasons. And she said she just wants to be here, and not like in the sense where she's lazy. She keeps this place clean. She keeps it lived in. There's an energy she brings to this place, a nurturing energy, a soft, comfy place to land. It's all always clean and kept for. When I come home from work, dinner is cooking. It smells fantastic. I walk in the door, I unlock the door, I walk in, it's cooking. It smells great. She comes around the corner. Hi, sweetie. She's so pretty. I walk up to her, I give her a hug. Every single day I'd come home to that. And I much prefer that than her working at Dollar General. It was always every single time much better coming home to that than this place empty. Maybe I had made it a little bit of a mess because sometimes I still clean up after myself, but I sometimes make the mess too. I'm still a human being.
Yeah.
But it's much preferable her being here and attending to everything. She's here with the cat, and and I think this is another thing that my perspective and my beliefs allow me to do, because I feel like a lot of men would have a problem with that. That used to be how things would go in the household
Back then.
and but why I like it so much is because of that thing that I said earlier about we're all the same thing, living life through a different biological filter. She's me. That's me.
Literally a female version of you.
I'm like, if I want to be, and if I want to be the best possible husband that I could possibly be, why wouldn't I want to try and provide her the scenario where she doesn't have to work? She can be at home as much as she wants, and she can pursue and do whatever she wants. And part of that, what she wants to do, is be the best housewife possible. Like, she wants to figure this thing out where I don't have to worry about anything. She wants to have these things figured out and to be disciplined on that path and whatnot, and to be that way. And then when we do have children, for it to be done in a very specific manner that we have talked many times about. So it's fascinating, and I like it. It doesn't bother me one bit. I like that it's going this way, and I don't think I would prefer the alternative.
And I think that's why during my, I guess, journey, you should say, as through social media and stuff like that, it was twisting my mind, was saying like, oh, 50-50 is like the new norm, or it takes two to tango, and two bank accounts and stuff like that. And my mom was going crazy. I was going nuts, and even my ex, I was like trying to tell her, it's like, we gotta go 50-50. Like, mm-hmm. She didn't want to. She was like kind of like your fiance. Uh-huh. She didn't want to work. She was kind of, I'm not gonna say lazy, but like she wanted to be a sort housewife. And in my mind, I was like, you're just being lazy. Like, you need to be working. We need to pay the bills and stuff like this and all that kind of stuff. Now I realize what my true purpose is. The man is supposed to provide for the household.
Another sense of emboldening, where it's another thing where, like, there was a time, I remember I had a breakdown when I was like probably between the ages like 10 and 15 or some shit, where I had a full-on breakdown because I realized one day I was going to have to get a job and provide for myself. That is the weakest I probably ever was. I broke down on this futon and I cried. But it was so silly.
It's like the fact that you don't want to grow up and you don't want to have these responsibilities.
Exactly.
It's like, I want to stay in my kid area where I don't have to worry about all that thing.
Video games.
Right.
I want to keep subtracting from reality.
Exactly.
And heisting marijuana. I want to keep getting my sticky fingers. I figured out how to pick locks. I figured out I remember this, like, you ever heard of Henry Stickmin?
Yes, yes.
So, you know that little storyline where you cold-blooded thief and whatnot.
Yes.
I took inspiration from many places, and every time I saw things like that, it was much like the universe. I've said this before, like the universe, like this tapestry of your whole life is like a tapestry that passes you by. Every event you have is put on this amazing tapestry. And every now and then, the universe will take its finger and it'll poke through a piece of the tapestry, and it'll emphasize something to you. You're watching a movie, you're reading a book, or you're hanging out with a friend, and then this moment is emphasized. Time warps. You don't everything is strange for a moment, and then you really take in this moment of something that's happening, and you remember it forever. And it could be a line from a movie, a line from a book, it could be a sentence from a friend, it could be a moment from a dream. All of these things, suddenly the universe pokes its finger through that thing and it makes that thing go right up to your face.
Like, man, what makes this so more important than any other, like watching like a TV show? Like, one episode hits you way more harder than any other episode. Why is that? Because there's something in that episode that means something to you, or that relates something to you in a deeper sense.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, definitely. And like, and I started to, like I said, like once I found like what my purpose is in this life.
Do you think you know?
I know as much as I did back then. Like, I gotta understand a little bit. I don't know my full purpose yet.
You think?
And I don't really want to know what it is. I'm just going with the flow at this point. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going with the flow, because I always try to like write it down or make like a schedule or something like that, and those don't really go well for me. If I feel like I want to do something at that moment, I just do it. And I know like some people are gonna be like, well, you gotta eventually gonna have to like plan it out, or like, schedule it out or something like that. And I was like, maybe whenever that time comes. Right now, I'm just going with the flow. Mm-hmm. I don't try to look at everything I do as like a job. I try to look at it as like an experience, or like as a fun activity at the time. Mm-hmm. And if I like it that much, then I will go further into that thing. And I don't try to go within as far as like money or anything like that, because they say money is the root of all evils. But what I read in one book that I'm reading, money is a tool. It's always been a tool. It's never been, it never gave happiness. It doesn't give happiness, and it's not evil. It's whatever you decide to do with that money, that tool.
It's a tool is a good word for it, because it's like a multifaceted. It's like a shifting and changing key to every single lock that's out there. Mm-hmm. Any kind of possibility for your life that you want, it can be the access point sometimes. And
just open different doors,
exactly.
different pathways. Maybe it might not work out for you. Like for me, it didn't work out for college. I put all the money I had for 2 semesters for my savings, and I went broke after that. I was miserable too, but I also like the word like, I get it, but I don't understand it. That's what I was getting when I was going to college. I was like, I knew
the information coming at you?
Yeah, like I get it, but I didn't understand what they were trying to tell me, because I'm just like, I feel like I'm just learning the same thing in high school all over again. I was like, I don't want to go back to school.
You don't feel that way when you're doing something that you feel deeply drawn to.
Yeah.
Are you an artist or anything like that? Is there anything that you really like to do that like kind of maybe popped up during school at any point, at any different point in the years?
I think, like what you said earlier, I just want to help people. I like helping people. That brings me happiness. When like the other day, when a random stranger, when I was doing laundry, coming back and I got my laundry baskets and stuff, she was like, "Hey, I'm sorry to ask you, but do you have like $10 that I can give? Such and such, like need medication and all that kind of stuff." And like different questions were going in my head, but I learned to just keep an open mind and be like, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. I'm just going to just do this because I want to. Uh-huh. Even though she may use it for drugs or use it for any other thing, but that's not, that's up to her.
You are still making her afternoon.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, either way, like, no matter how you put it, it like, you can come up with all these different conclusions in your head, but at the end of the day, you don't know if you actually did a good thing for that person or not. In my mind, I think I did a good thing, because, I would like to help as many people as I possibly can. It's up to them whether they use that money for what they said they were going to use it for, or for something totally different.
I think especially if you're using your best judgment and you think that you're genuinely helping out, then even if it's questionable to you and you're not sure, it's your reality. It's
I
your
hope
universe.
that person actually did the right thing.
You have, regardless of whether or not they use it for good or bad, you have in your own mind, your own perspective, you're like, I have done a good thing at least. I've tried to do a good thing. I've made an effort to do something that's morally upward. And I can't fault myself for what they do. Yeah, beyond that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, social media really plagued my mind for a long time, and I was one of those people that, you know, like, think I know this person like that, even I never met this person. You know, like, I don't comment or anything, but like, I get in my own head, be like, hey, yo, man, like, you don't deserve that. Like, it's like, why the heck is this female treating him like shit, or like this, that, and the other? Like, man, this man living a good life from all the posts and stuff he posts on social media. It look like he's having a good life, but like, pictures, videos, everything is just the delusion to just hide the trauma that's really happening. You know, in the day to day. Like,
performance.
Yeah, and you know, like it's like its own TV show in like a sitcom.
Yeah,
it's like
a reality TV
you
show.
You don't know what they're really thinking about unless you actually know that person for real. Like, you're never gonna know that person. But like also too, same with like posting and stuff on social media. Like, let's say like oh, I've been to the Bahamas, and you posted that like the next day. You probably went there like a few months ago or sometime last year. You're just not uploading it. But the people that are looking at it be like, oh man, you look like you had a great time there yesterday or whatever. The heck. Everything is deceiving. Everything is like what do you call it? Like a wall of.
Well, earlier I said a performance.
Yeah, performance.
One thing that I heard Duncan Trussell say was like, they're constantly holding up this tail feather. This tail feather, it's this pretty tail feather, and they're like, this is how it looks. It's pretty. Look at it. Look up at it. And then every now and then, you know, when they have like a panic episode and they break down and they freak out on people or something like that, that's when their arms get tired and they start shaking and they're like, and they can't hold it up anymore. And then when people are like, oh my God, I can't believe that they would say this or act like that, and it's like, I don't even know you. It's like, no, that's them.
That's the real them. Like, that's their true self.
They might be like lashing out, but. And this is I try to keep the positive, you know, this is me in another life perspective, is, you know, it's hard. And, you know, sometimes the weight of the mask it's more than weight. Sometimes, you know, when it comes off, it peels skin and like, it's painful.
Like, you can't hold off for too much longer.
No.
Like, it's slowly building up to the point where it's like, at this point, it's like, you have no way to control or compact your emotions, like how you truly feel.
Yeah, and there was like here's a good example, I think, is like I remember like at one of the deepest points, like I stole weed for like probably 7 or more years. It was a long time. I remember thinking to myself, there's no way I'll do it for years. And then at some point I lost count, and I was like so surprised. I was like, I can't believe I've got to this, that I would ever get to this point. And I remember also thinking, I wonder if I could ever apologize for something like this. I wonder if that's how I knew I was a good person too. Like, I didn't really like have the revelation at the time, but thinking back on it, like, that's how I know there's always like a piece. There's like people say you have an inner child. That's how I know there was like an inner child way down deep under all of the years of acting a certain way that still feels and wants to behave differently than how I was currently being. You know, and then psychedelics helped me just cut straight through the light, straight through the layers with a lightsaber, just and then just peel them away. Like, whoa, look, there he is! And then I was down there in the fetal position, like. And they just grabbed me and pulled me out, and they're like, all right, now you gotta just forget about all that nonsense and start trying to do this thing better now. And that's kind of what it's, so yeah, I guess that's why some people think that I'm nice. I say think, they probably pick it up some kind of.
So like I said, the reason why I want to get to know you more is because, like, not only your aura, your positivity, and just overall, like, the character you portray. Like I said, I've been around nothing but negative people for most of my life, so I was trying to change that. And so I saw you gave off good vibes, looked like a good person from what you what we talked about and how you portray yourself. And I didn't think I was thinking a lot of things in my head. Was like, oh, is he just putting on a persona, or is this how he truly feels and stuff like that, or like, is he actually like putting on a mask of holding his true emotions,
Trying to be interesting.
yeah. But like, I didn't think of any of that. I just kept, like I said, I kept an open mind. I was like, you know what, let me just put myself out there, get out of my comfort zone and just try to have a conversation. And so like I confronted you. You were really super nice. And like, I'm just like, what do I say? I was like, I've never, like, again, like, I've been around nothing but negative people. And no offense to all the other people I've been around, but like, they were just trauma dumping a bunch of stuff that happened in their life, and as their first conversation.
Yeah.
But like,
it's hard to do. It's also hard not to do as a human, especially when all your life seems like, and especially when they portray it like, oh, your whole life's trauma, you're a victim, and everything sucks all the time. Oh, the whole world's coming to an end. There's aliens around the corner. The fucking elites are eating babies. All right, your life is hell, and you work for a minimum wage job, and the person who owns the big corporation of your job, they're like building spaceships, and they're gonna leave you behind.
freaking cults and stuff, worship the devil and all that kind of shit. But like, no, it's just, it was off to me, because I'm just like, man, I've never in my life seen somebody so positive before. I didn't think the overall, I didn't think that could even happen, So seeing you and you talking to everybody in that warehouse, I was like, man, he knows everybody.
I'll interact with anyone.
I was like,
Yeah.
the first person I was thinking of, and this is why, like, TV shows specifically,
I like everybody. Yeah,
was
everybody's nice.
the first person I was thinking of when I saw you talking to everybody was Barry Allen from the
Barry
Justice League animated show, because
I'm gonna have to look this up.
not only he's a superhero, of course he's the Flash, but
Oh, the Flash.
yeah, it's Barry Allen the Flash from that specific TV show, because you want to
Okay.
know, because the reason why he doesn't have like a mansion. He's not like Bruce Wayne. He's not like Superman with a Fortress of Solitude. He's a normal everyday guy. He lives in a crappy apartment. He has like messed up furniture, and he lives like he lives like a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
He treats everybody with respect. He knows everybody's name. He's like your friendly neighborhood person. And he knows everybody's name. He helps people with the little mundane tasks. And like, that's what you give me vibe, because you pretty much know everybody there. You respect everybody. You love everyone. And he even and Barry Allen in that show even treats his villains with respect. Like most heroes, they just, beat the villain and just take him to jail, and like, he'll learn his lesson one day. No, man. Barry Allen literally sits next to a villain.
I feel like I've seen this.
Yeah, the trickster. He was in a bar. He was like saying, "Hey, yo, man, like, what are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, I'm just having a beer. I'm drinking." It's like, "You're not gonna do any mischief, are you?" It's like, "I don't think so." It's like, "What's going on?" Literally having a one-on-one conversation, deep conversation.
That's how I feel about, like, whenever I see somebody struggling. I also like deep conversation. It's like much prefer. I used to like. Now I don't think that your questions that you initially asked me when you first started talking to me were shallow by any means. I think, in fact, they were deep. I don't care that it was about pancakes or waffles or what kind of flavor ice cream. I felt like it was like the most perfect camouflage. I think it's like.
Because I'm the same way. I like talking about deep things, but I'm trying to like simplify it to the point where like
it's hard to get a stranger to find out if they're on the same wavelength, and you've got to probe carefully.
Yeah, because I don't want to not trauma dump, but I don't want to like what's the word? Trying to
those people down.
Like throw a bunch of information at them all at once, especially like not saying like people don't have that mindset, but people aren't like. They don't think that deeply enough.
Yeah. So did you get that feeling whenever you asked about the waffles and pancakes? And I was like, I like waffles because I like the crunch. Pancakes are delicious. And
honestly, dude.
And then when it came to the ice cream, I was like, if I had to come up with my own ice cream flavor, I'd come up with like, what was it?
the bacon.
Yeah, I think it was bacon. Yeah.
Caramel. I think it was caramel bacon or something like that. Something with bacon flavor.
Yeah, it had to. I was gonna say bacon because, but then I wouldn't want it to be actually like flavored like bacon. I think, even though people could probably do it,
Like the
I'd want it to be-
savoriness.
Yeah, I want it to be like sugar crystals and whatnot. It'd be like a play on it, but it's sweet. Yeah. So did that give you the vibe of like, all right, even though these questions are like low balls, I'm throwing him some low balls right now.
He was giving me some really deep
giving me an
detail,
answer.
like really detailed answers. So like that's what like I was like, okay, well damn, I don't even know what kind of questions I should really ask him because like when we talk,
It opens
even-
up the door. Yeah.
Yeah, not just that, but like we could talk for literally hours. But like, of course, we're on a time crunch because we gotta get in a wave and all that kind of stuff. But like, it literally kept my mind, winding like gears, like trying to figure. I was like,
I could actually ask this guy a question.
like, what kind of other questions should I ask this man? Like, you look like I said, you look like an open book. Like, you have a vast variety of different,
This is why I'm
layers
honest too. This is why I'm honest about my experience and whatnot because, like, when it comes to telling you about this and you getting the vibe like you do from me, other people I think get the similar vibe because I'm trying my best to be authentic. I'm trying to be the best version of me possible and be aware of my flaws and do my best to make corrections and whatnot along the way. And as a result, I've made these friends that I've made, like you, and and like Skylar and whatnot, and the rest of them, because they get, I think, the similar sense that just like there's a little more going on than they realize. And when I first came and this is how I'm going to leave too. When I first came up here, and I was doing 100 push-ups before they would do stand-up. I was like around the desk.
Oh, really?
I would do 100 push-ups, and I'd do them 10 at a time. That's what everybody knew me before I knew everybody's name. I was reading Jordan Peterson. I was reading 12 Rules for Life. I was reading David Goggins. I was reading Can't Hurt Me. And I was reading that at stand-up, and then I would take occasional breaks, set the book down, do 10 push-ups, go back to reading the book. That's how I showed up to this place. Nice. And then I started doing jiu-jitsu, and when I started going to jiu-jitsu I went for like maybe 4 months. And the first like 2.5, I went every single day, and they would have like 3, sometimes 4 classes, and I would show up for 3 max.
Oh my gosh.
And for like 2.5 months, I didn't miss a class.
Okay, pause.
Yeah.
Use the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I was trying my hardest to live.
New direction. Let's see. You ever play The Last of Us? I feel like I've asked you that.
No, you never asked me that. No.
No?
No. Okay, we're gonna get a little controversial here.
Oh, really? We're gonna get controversial. I should have brought more snacks.
You want some munchies?
Oh, what have you got over there? What are you doing? Oh, that's literally what it's called.
Really called munchies.
I'll take one chip. I'm dessert. All right, let's go. What's up? Controversial.
It's not really controversial. I mean, I think a lot of people probably on the same page. The first one was amazing.
Like the game?
Yes. Oh, you talk about the TV show?
No, I am talking about the game.
Oh yes, the game is fantastic. Definitely
The first one.
Yes,
You
the
like
first one. Second one, not so much.
Oh yeah? Why?
The first one hit so good because we felt like we were there. We felt like we were a part of the whole, scenario. With at the beginning when Joel and his daughter got shot.
Really drew us in.
That was really like the whoo.
We were sold.
Right. That's how it started. I was like, oh my gosh.
I remember telling anybody that I had as a friend at the time. I was like, I played that game on the hardest mode and beat it in 2 days.
2 days?
Yeah, I played it on PlayStation 3.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
I beat it in 2 days, and I was still going to school, and I came home and I played it all night long through the night, and I cried 3 times.
It not only the gameplay is good, but like I think what brought me it was definitely the story because like it was definitely down to earth, and it's not even just that, but like the whole concepts of like the cordyceps which is based off a real thing.
Yes.
It is actually terrifying to see if it would actually affect humans.
It just needs to jump species. It just needs to jump species, and it's only a few degrees. It's only a few degrees away from being able to do. If it could mutate and handle a few more degrees of heat, it could take us over.
But I also think too, which is why like Ellie hits so hard with like a second protag, not only because she has the cure, and then also I think that's like a double meaning. Like no matter what threat comes our way in reality, we always have some way to counteract it, whether it's biologically or like physically. Because I mean, I would say us humans are like cockroaches in a way. Like we can't fully
Very
die.
adaptable.
Yeah, very adaptable. We can't fully die. One of us is gonna stay and reproduce. You know, like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. You know, not every single person on this earth. The only way that's gonna happen is the whole world is actually explodes.
Right. Yeah.
And I think even that is, you know, will probably survive some way.
So, yeah, even I think in like a bacterial sense, we could just always like. I think it's very possible that we showed up on this planet as a bacteria from an asteroid or a meteor, and then over time it took billions and billions of years, but we grew out of something, and we were always here in a sense, but we just had to evolve over a long time. And I guess it's a complicated perspective to be able to like say that you believe in evolution and at the same time have this spiritual sense. I think it's all intertwined. I think they work together and symbiotically in the same way that I was telling you earlier about the reverse speech, how I could be talking to you this whole time, and if I put this in reverse, I might find several examples where we're saying things that are true, that we feel that and whatnot, that our subconscious is wanting to convey at the same time. And I was going to say this earlier, it's see how you have to play it in reverse to hear it. I was thinking, well, your higher self, from what I understand through trips, is that like it's connected on a plane of existence that's different in the way that time works. I think time is a very strange concept that we have, that we've labeled probably strangely as well. And I think that it's working in a plane where time maybe doesn't work the same. And if it can do that, why wouldn't it be able to speak at the same time that I speak in reverse? It's just if you take time and you flip it, you put it in the other direction, you listen to it backwards. That's where you hear the secret messages in this reverse speak.
Double meaning.
As we talk, literally the connection is meaning. And oftentimes that's how you would hear these like subliminal messages from your subconscious. And so if that's the case, I think what the deal is just that the distortion of time, what we think time is, it makes us incapable of perhaps seeing that or picking that up. Because if we could realize every now and then, as I'm speaking literally right now, I've probably seemingly put out a few subliminal messages that are as simple as, I like this guy, or I'm having a nice conversation, or this is fun. It could be as simple as that. And the same for you. Who knows what it's seeded throughout the entire conversation coming from your subconscious, said backwards.
Not only just that, but like I guess, in the way I like think of stuff, I try to. It's like different windows of like different like possibilities or different outcomes of what could happen. Let's say like I'm delivering a package somewhere, like maybe like into a really suspicious road. In one mindset, or I guess in one dimension or parallel universe, one person goes down it, or that me goes down it, and it goes fine. One person, another different adaptation, another person goes down it, something bad happens. I deliver the package, one adaptation, and something bad happens to me, or I go down it, everything's fine, go back to the next one. I have this.
You're seeing the different pathways and possibilities for you.
Yes, in every situation I'm in, depending if the situation itself is makes me uncomfortable, that's what my mind goes through.
It starts running the scenarios.
Yeah, running different scenarios of different outcomes, and at that point,
you feel like you oftentimes dodge a couple risky scenarios because of that ability. That's a superpower.
There was one that was in Boonville. I was backing up into this person's driveway. It was like a narrow, curvy gravel road, and on the sides there was like a little hill going inside of the lawn. I backed up, and I kind of like went down it sideways.
Oh, man.
So I was like on the edge of the hill, and like if I would have went back anymore, like the side of my van would have like came down on the fucking grass area. So in my mind, I was like, I could either, I was thinking different scenarios. I was like, I could either go forward, take the risk, or I can call dispatch to get me out. I can call the customer. I chose the latter route, and I chose to just go forward and pray for the best. Luckily, I was able to pull forward. I was.
You said that was your first decision, right?
Yes.
Was to do that. Ladder means I think second or third.
Oh, ladder. Yeah. So I
chose
your
foremost decision.
Yeah, the foremost. Yeah, I chose the first
Try and pull
option.
out.
Yeah, because I didn't want to get the customers in this situation, and I didn't want to call dispatch to tell them I got stuck. So I just went.
It's hard,
I took a big risk, and I'm normally not a risk taker too, so that made it. Whew.
Did you make it or no?
Oh yeah, I made it out fine. But like at the end of the day, though, when I went back to that same house, he told me not to, get in his driveway because of that situation. Because I did leave like tracks.
But was it a big deal or did it go down all right?
It like getting out and everything.
Or just like afterward, did everything go fine?
Oh yeah. I delivered the package, and I didn't think the lawn was that bad, but I understand what he was saying.
No, yeah, it probably wasn't that. It wasn't that bad, but also, it's difficult.
I understand. I understand his point of view. I was like, it's probably better to just walk down the gravel. It wasn't that far of a house, but that whole experience, of course, made me realize it'd be like sometimes you can't take risks, and sometimes risk does have rewards. Because I feel like playing it safe isn't. Even playing it safe is not always the best option.
I agree. You have to take risks because life is. That's what coming up here has been about for me. It was a risk, man. I didn't know, and that relationship with that girl that we moved in with when we came up here, it fell apart, and it's all. I would say it's all my fault. But here's why. It's because I was going through heavy changes as a person. I was not. I used to just let everybody steamroll me, let whatever happen, and I would steal and I would thievery and I would, and I was living like 3 or 4 different lives at once, and it was really just like a double life. But it felt so. That's how stressful it was sometimes too. Is it felt like there was so much going on for me, even though there really wasn't, because I was making most of it imaginary from my own actions, but. Kind of trailing off a little bit. What were we saying?
It's like you were trying to juggle, like taking risk.
Something to the effect of, shoot. Me.
But taking
just,
risk, yes.
Just dealing with all that kind of stress. It's good. It was good to get away from it. Man, I really did lose my train of thought. Me. Well, that's what I get.
It's okay. I think risk taking in and of itself is definitely, I feel like that's how you can improve to get better is by taking risk. And of course, like another thing is to trial and error.
I remember now. Of course, trial and error.
But
coming up here and moving in with that friend of hers, everything went south with that because of the person that I was becoming at the time, and I was trying really hard to make all these changes, and I used to let people steamroll me and all that stuff like that, and it's just that I was deciding to set like boundaries and like have standards and all of these things to make me a better person, and I was trying to start at basic levels. I was just like, can I try and just like look at myself in the mirror and be like, have you showered today? Have I brushed my teeth? Like I'm trying to take care of myself first. And then at some point, I got to these points where I was like, looking at her so-called friends that we were living with, and I was like, these aren't how friends treat you. Like, going back to one of the things earlier about what you might consider a friend and whatnot, I was like, these are not how friends treat you. Like, your money should get paid back. You should
pay it back.
Yeah, the things that they borrow from you should be returned. They shouldn't disappear.
But that's having high expectations for somebody, and then if that expectation doesn't go through, then it's gonna make you 10 times worse because you're expecting something back from that person.
Well, I guess it was also that kind of points to my reaction to the situation too. Because after a while of dealing with that, like we were with them for maybe about 3 months, maybe 4, but I think 3. And like I said, 2.5 of that. No, it had to have been almost 4 because I worked for at least a month, so it had to have been 2.5. And then I worked because I remember I did work for this lady for like a couple weeks. Anyway, she saw me riding my bike a lot, and I passed by her a lot. She was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to find a job. I'm going to the gym." And she like had me do a bunch of weed eating around these houses and tried to pay me as much as she could, but she wasn't that rich. But anyway, I ended up getting a job. But anyway, going back to backing up. What were we at? I'm gonna trail off again.
It's about your the people you're living with you and your girl and that
Thank you.
female.
Being with them and whatnot, and I was telling her this is not how friends treat you and whatnot. We had that situation happen a few times where it's like we came up here under certain pretenses to be around certain people, and then I ended up confronting almost every single one of those people and being like, you can't treat her like this. You can't be like that. That's not like, she doesn't deserve this. Mm-hmm. And I was also trying to be the best that I could to be nice about it because I can articulate myself well. And when I have time on my hands and I can send a long text, and here's the deal too. Paragraphs. And yes, they're very long. They're very long. Longer than paragraphs. And you're the same way?
Yeah, it's like when I texted somebody, I can get everything I'm saying out from my mind.
Because you have time usually.
Yeah, I got time. I can literally jot this down in any way, shape, or form. But when I'm actually in person to person, it's definitely 10 times more difficult.
Yeah, I agree. You can jumble some things up and whatnot. And I feel like psychedelics have helped me become more fluid and allow some things out more easily and whatnot. Every now and then I might decide to make things a little spicy by pouring a little neurotoxicity on.
Okay.
But you know what I mean. Regardless, and that's also why I have those too. I try to stay hydrated. I don't like I don't like
the dry mouth.
Yeah, I don't like dry mouth. I don't like getting dehydrated. I don't like hangovers. So I try to do my best to avoid all those things, and that's why I also don't drink very much. But regardless, back to that whole fiasco is like, I became the wall between all the people that would abuse her and manipulate her and try to tell her this is how, try to just manipulate life in a way and twist the fabric of reality in such a way that where it's like, this is normal, you know what I mean? Like there might be some deep down part of you that really despises this, but you won't trade it for anything else because it's all you know. And it's also some sense of maybe there's some sense of you deserve it or you don't deserve better than this or you don't know that there's better than this. But I came into the picture with very much the attitude of I know there's better than this. My family's pretty freaking great. They have their problems. You know what I mean? Everybody has their problems, and I wish, nobody had to deal with any of these problems, but we're all people living on planet Earth, and we're also possibly spirits that have lived in other bodies that live entirely different lifestyles where we may not have even had bodies that looked like this. And if we can just for a moment step away from what's currently going on and think about the fact that you and I might be the same thing, but the distortion here is that we think we're not reflections in a mirror. You might be black and I might be white, but if we let the distortion of we're not the same or that we're individuals separate us in any way, shape, or form, we will connect less. And that's all I know for sure. And so if we can find ways to connect with people more, that allows us to have opportunities where we can, when we're dealing with hard times with people or arguing with someone or meeting a stranger that has a different opinion, you don't want to maybe kill them.
I mean, I know a lot of people have those minds or those, I guess, evil, dark intentions in their minds. Of course, they don't actually do them because they know the ramifications or the consequences. They'd be like, even though I hate this person so much, I would kill them, even though I wouldn't physically do it. like this person pisses me off for this, that, and the other. But like also,
You
like
can imagine, like,
yeah, like in my mind, I'm excited. But like
Obviously.
again, like I used to not. I mean, well, sometimes when it comes to people that are like getting so close to my back when I'm driving, I hate that shit.
oh yeah.
But I also try to keep in mind that I don't know what that person's going through. They think that's the new norm, and I look forward. I think that's like I think everything I do or everything I interpret is like a double meaning. It's like I keep looking behind me when I should just keep looking in front of me.
Yeah, there's a good metaphor or not a metaphor, sorry, I think a teaching from like a Buddhist teacher that talks about one way to meditate is sit there and pay attention to your breath and whatnot. Obviously, that's probably a super easy one, but when it comes to when a thought pops up, you're sitting there and you're just focusing on your breath, in, out, in, out, and then when a thought pops in, maybe, oh, I've got bills, or did I feed the cat, did I scoop the litter, did I empty the trash, whatever it is, whenever something pops up, you just go, oh, thinking, and then you go, all right, back to my breath, in, out, and whenever another thought pops in, oh, thinking. And all you're doing is recognizing, basically, that you're this thing that receives thoughts, and you receive a wide variety, if not literally an infinite variety of different thoughts. And also when you kind of like focus on something, the variety of thoughts might get more diluted in that area. Not diluted, concentrated in that area. Like if you focus on something, you're going to get more of a certain kind of thought. And but it's a meditation practice that allows you to recognize at least your thought process and what's going on here. You can kind of subtract from it a little bit and just become the observer more and realize that I'm like an antenna that's picking up frequencies, and I've been focusing on certain areas that picks up certain wavelengths, and then in those wavelengths comes all these thoughts like this. Like if I'm thinking about my job a lot, I'm going to think about all the things I can do right or wrong in it. If I'm thinking about my relationship a lot, I can think about all the things that I might do right or wrong in it. If I think about playing video games or the cleanliness of the apartment or the progress of my move or whatever the situation is, I can think about all of the things in between right and wrong in it. Like all the things I could be doing that I could already have done, or all the things I could be doing to procrastinate, to make it all last much, much longer and than I need it to and whatnot. But definitely went off on a trail on that one.
It's definitely interesting, especially like recently I've started to, because I was having trouble trying to get in a habit of, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to like go to the gym ever since I got my key with the gym and stuff like that. And what I've learned was like I have to treat this like it's like my second job in a way, because like when I'm going to work, like my mind is already set, like what time I gotta go to bed, what time I gotta wake up in the morning, what time I gotta be there. Like my mind is already set with Sunday to Wednesday. It's my mind is already set for that. So how can I trick my mind into thinking like I can do that again from Thursday to Saturday? Have that same mindset. And so
like to keep it going like another job.
Yeah, so like replace my warehouse job or my delivery job with my gym thing. Which is why when I said that I go to the gym at 9:25, I act like I'm going to work.
Yeah.
But in a way I'm working out something else. That's
it's a routine
important. Yes.
schedule.
So
yeah, this is why one of the big things for me when I started the whole workout journey and whatnot was getting up as early as possible and doing it first thing before anything else. And making it the hardest thing in my day, so that way literally nothing else would be as hard as the thing that I do to myself first thing in the morning. And that is advice that I take from like Joe Rogan and all that stuff like that. All these different people that I listen to and motivational speakers and whatnot. I take advice from all of them, a myriad, and I to try and formulate what might be best for me in my situation. So that way, the key that I formulate to the lock that is my life, to the future, the grand, beautiful future that I want, the lock to that door, I have to formulate the right key for it, and I will draw whatever tools and pieces of information I can from everywhere to formulate that key, and that's how I get to, I don't know, not Neverland. That's not where we want to go. But either way, that's how I get to where I'm trying to go.
You're trying to open that door, but you need the specific components to make that key for that door.
Yeah, and so that's why I work out first thing in the morning, and that's why when I first came up here and I was doing the push-ups, I didn't have a gym membership, but I was like, I gotta work out. I have to do something. I have to do something. So I would do 100 push-ups and I would do 100 leg lifts. You know that bench where the lockers are.
Oh yeah.
That little lobby. I would sit on that bench and I'd grab the back of it and I would do 100 leg lifts and then I'd do 100 push-ups right next to it and then I would go up to the stand-up bench. I would show up at like 8 o'clock in the morning when stand-up was 9:25. I would show up like an hour and 25 minutes early so I would have time to do all of those things. And that's why. And then the one time when my car broke down and whatnot, I took my bike and I rode it. It's 20 miles to Dispatch Day. I rode it all the way over there.
No way.
And on the side of the highway, I went the way that you drove up here.
Yeah.
I went back and on a bike that had like a bumpy tire. And I did it for like it was maybe like an 8-hour thing. It was a work day on a bike, just bouncing down the road, going all the way down there just so I could tell them my car is fucked up. I have no minutes on my phone. I want to work. Can somebody pick me up? And I was like, I will do whatever. So, and that's another thing too. When I have some of these friends that have a hard time with, the dispatch and whatnot, and they're like, I don't know, they're dicks or whatever. They're shitty. Management sucks. I just try my best at all times. Because ever since I've started to change my life, that's the best advice I've been given, and it's been backed up by such profound experiences that I can't possibly deny them the advice. I can't possibly be like, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and not listen to and not take. I'll literally just like dismiss the most profound experience I've ever had and be like, I'll just continue eating the pork chops and continue mopping the floors. But no, I couldn't. It was too much, and I wanted to change. So it was rocket fuel on top of the fact that I was already trying to change. Like I already had made some changes. And then I was like, what's up with this DMT thing? After maybe like a half a year, I was like, what's going on here? And then it just exploded. Everything exploded. But yeah, I think that's why I feel like I'm like up to something. Like there's a grand thing. Everybody's life is grand. It's even the hard ones, unfortunately. It's a broad experience that we're here to capture all of. We are capturing literally every last possible thing that can happen here on planet Earth. Every single version of a life that can be happening is likely happening on planet Earth right now. Mm-hmm. And we as a human species are collectively experiencing all of it like a hive mind. We're like all of the good and all of the bad, the autism spectrum, all the way from the left, all the way to the right, however retarded or sane or smart you can be, the highest IQ to the lowest. It's like all a giant, not an experiment, but it's like if you're tasting fine wines.
There's different flavors and different textures,
and that's your life, man. And there's theories out there that we're like our souls are like maturing like a fine wine in these vessels that are our life experiences for some creature out there to go. Yeah, man, I like the taste of that lonely childhood where he had like nobody. Oh yeah, and then he started going to the gym. Oh yeah, the legs on that. Oh yeah, he started doing legs for a while. I can taste it there in his 20s, and it's who knows.
I definitely like have like a different what's it called?
Perspective.
Yeah, perspective on like especially like. God,
this is a lot to take in for you. I'm sorry to like
no.
with all this, man. It's so much.
I had it and then I lost it. It just like came in and then it's just like gone. But I'm gonna try my best to bring it back somehow. But just overall how life is and like how the it goes deeper than just the color of our skin and stuff like that. There's like I feel like again I think everybody has a similar lifestyle, or not similar lifestyle, similar trauma, I guess you can say. You know, what you see on TV, social media, what you listen to, definitely all characterized in how you develop as a person. And I'm not saying that there's no bad music or anything. Of course, everyone has good music, but like there's also another, like you said, double meaning. Either whether you're playing something in reverse or looking deep into the lyrics, because not only the song may be good, but it also can be depressing as well. It can leave two different outcomes in
Yeah,
something.
you know the song "Hey Ya."
Yes,
Yeah.
I've read about that. Yes,
You know the lyrics to it, how they're pretty sad actually, and if you like kind of sing it in a different tone, it's got a whole different feel.
and he even said like you're not gonna pay attention to this. Like you're only gonna listen to the vibes, the beats, and that.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Y'all ain't even listening. Y'all just want to dance.
right, and it's like, bro, we don't. Like I said, like there's so much stuff underneath the rug that a lot of people are going through that you will never know. It's not like you don't care. It's like you just want somebody to listen to you, but you don't want to listen to them.
Yeah.
But it's like in order to help somebody, in order to, I guess take that burden off their chest, you have
gotta
to
be a two-way
Yeah,
street.
you gotta open up. You gotta like take in what you give out.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like that's so that I would say probably that's what you're noticing here.
take in what
Is
you
that
give out.
opportunity perhaps?
Yeah, and I see not only because this whole experience today was like, man, an eye opening for me, because not only I get to learn everything that you experience as an individual and all of your legal the intent allegedly trips, but also it gives me an understanding of how many layers that our world can have. And of course there's infinite layers, and like I've of course like dimensions, parallel worlds. I believe in all that. I don't believe in the flat earth shit. I don't believe in that crap. The world is a circle. it's round.
It's a sphere.
It's
it's
no,
a
it's not a
ball,
cube.
something.
It's not a triangle. Like it's a circle.
I don't think it's hollow either. I think there's probably a lot of caverns going on. Maybe it is hollow a little bit. I don't know what's going on down there.
Like holes, caves and stuff like that. Like, yes, sure, if you want to believe something like that. I mean, again, like everyone can believe whatever they want to believe.
Yeah.
And I will not take that from them. But like there is a set reality of how life actually
we
works.
definitely seem to be on some kind of blue ball in space. We're like, and the Earth is almost like its own organic spaceship. That's
like
what I
we're
feel
supposed to have
sometimes.
2 moons or something, or
Do
something
we
off
have
the
2
line.
moons? I think I've heard that the moon's hollow, and there's some pretty convincing evidence that like they've like that the CIA or the government's like dropped a satellite on the moon and it rang. It like had an empty vibration or something like that.
I've never heard anything like that, but I mean,
It's weird shit. It's weird shit.
I'm not gonna
if it's real.
I'm not gonna like disagree with you on that, but like I'll keep an open mind
I don't
and
know
stuff
what's
like
going on.
that,
I don't
because
know if
I was
it's
like,
real.
I don't know what the world is going on right now, because again, like it feels like a video game where anything could
Yeah.
possibly happen at any point in any certain time frame. So it's like all we can do right now is just live our life and just I guess in my somewhat of a purpose is to help other people grow just as much as I'm growing myself.
That's what I feel like, if there's anything aside from like the advice that psychedelics and DMT has given me, that's what it's tried to tell me too. It's like, and I fail to do it sometimes because I get a little excited and I want other people to experience what I've experienced, because it's so profound and eye-opening and mind-expanding and world-changing and earth-shattering that I feel like it's like almost a cure-all. Because I remember one time that I did it, Chelsea had just finished making spaghetti.
Oh,
and I had gotten up from the experience. I had a fantastic experience. I walked in there. She handed me a plate of food. It's just a mountain of spaghetti, and I just threw a bunch of Parmesan on there. And I was like, I am so grateful for this food right now. I almost can't eat it.
Almost can't eat it.
I almost can't eat it. And that was the most profound sense of gratitude I've ever felt in my life. That I just came in here and laid down on the bed for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I walk in there and she hands me this food. She looks so pretty, and I'm like, I can't eat it. It looks too good. I can't. And I'm so happy right now. And yeah, so it reverberates through me in the sense that I get a little carried away with the fact that I want other people to experience that. I feel like other people deserve to experience it, especially if they're having a hard time in this life, this incarnation that they're in, where it may feel narrow and limited and like there's no God or expanded universe or more or better, greater things going on, and that their life just sucks. And if there is anything bigger than them, that it hates them, it doesn't. It cares very much about you, but at the very same time, it's kind of ambivalent, where it's like it wants the best for you, but at the same time, you know, you're probably gonna die because you're born to die anyway. So it's like, you know, whether you get hit by a car or shot in the head or strangled to death or you die old and peacefully, doesn't really matter that much, because once it's over, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what a ride. And that's, I think, the sense I get. So that's why I like try to do my best to be nice to people, and I try to, like, where I can, educate people on where I've come from and what I've been up to and the things that have changed my life for the better. Because if at any point in time they want to hit me up and be like, hey man, how exactly did you make that happen for you? I am willing to explain. Because I want to be, like, for the way that the universe seeded those experiences for me and got me curious to do it on my own, not everybody's willing to do that.
Not putting any effort.
Yeah, I gotta be like the Underground Railroad or something like that, where it's like, you know, if someone is coming to me and they're looking for the buoy in the middle of the ocean and they're drowning and their life they feel like is almost over, I want to be like that lantern or that light, that lighthouse in the middle of nowhere, where I can be like, look, go this way. You can stop here for a moment. Everything's fine. I know the storm out there is insane and you want to just stop swimming. But I'm telling you, just chill for a minute right here and then go that way.
I always say just embrace the weird, embrace the uncomfortableness, because you don't know, again, I feel like a lot of people jump to conclusions. They don't take that risk or that jump into that uncomfortableness because they'd be like, oh, but it might not go well, or like, I feel like I might get criticized. Like, who cares? At the end of the day, you're trying to better yourself. You're not trying to better yourself for other people.
Exactly. And that ties right in with, in fact, one of the reasons why I decided to do that particular psychedelic experience, because I had already done acid twice and mushrooms once, and then DMT was the very last thing, until it's just been like a string of that for some alleged long period of time. And
Allegedly.
And but like those were all great experiences, but this one was the big change. And the way that it started off, I kind of lost my train of thought. What did you just say?
About you need to rather than trying to be better for other people, you need to do it for yourself.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I decided to do it, is because I was seeking to do, I think you were talking about like jumping into being a new, better person or something like that. Maybe I'm probably misremembering, but I remember it tied into my first experience where I was like, I want to do this and I want it to be good for me. I want good things I want to change. I want to break apart all of what this thing that I am right now. I want to destroy it and build it brand new. And it gave me that opportunity. And I remember the first experience where I really dove in with a high dose. I was like, my literal thought, and I guess you could say intention the intention I set for the trip was, fuck it, here we go. And when I let go of that hit, that breakthrough dose, I closed my eyes and I turned into this energetic form of myself. I was just glowing light that was the silhouette of a human being. And I slid down this rainbow tendril that was like a slide, and then I jumped into this pit that was like, I don't know, it was probably like the size of a massive meteor crater or whatever. It was like the size of a canyon, and it was this funnel shape, and it was the rainbow colors that I showed you. It was like that, but going down the funnel. And I ran down this like slide that was also a rainbow tendril, and then I jumped off it. It was the same energetic feeling of me saying, fuck it, here we go. I just jumped into the experience and jumped into this giant funnel and went straight down the hole, and then I then that breakthrough experience was by far, aside from the one where I met a version of me that's either from the future or a different reality. I met a version of me, and I intended to do it too. I told Skylar about it. I was like, I'm going to try and do this. And then the next time that I hit a breakthrough dose, that's exactly what happened. I met a version of myself that was either from the future or a different reality, and I was trying to get advice on I was trying to talk to a version of me that had done everything right. And I was like, what do I do? You know what I mean? And when I saw him, when I went through this portal and I saw him, he just smiled at me. He just smiled at me. And he was in front of this beautiful tapestry of tiles that it was like, and he was like the centerpiece of. He had like looked back at me.
Like very vague.
It was very vague, but the smile, I've been interpreting it for a while now. I feel like the general gist of what he told me without words was like, you're worrying over nothing. Stop worrying.
Sounds like I'm glad you didn't have like some sort of time paradox or anything, meeting another version of yourself or anything. Like,
well, yeah, man, these experiences are insane and anything can happen. And I think you can get what you ask for. If you're not careful, you'll get exactly what you ask for. And that's why where I can, I try to encourage people to be experimental and open-minded. Because I know my experimentation is not done yet. I know I've got more there's more psychedelics out there, and I am a psychonaut. I am a traveler. What?
oh, I was gonna let you finish.
Okay, I was gonna say I am a traveler, and I am not of this world. I think I understand that to be true, and so I've got ideas out there where I'm like, well, I wonder if I can like do a heroic dose of mushrooms and then load up a breakthrough dose in the pen and see what happens when I'm like peaking on the mushrooms. Gosh. And then maybe I wonder if I could get acid in there somewhere, like a cocktail, like and just make this thing. Because I've heard about many like Egyptian experiences and like Alan Watts like mixing all these psychedelic drugs and like having these crazy profound experiences. And like I wonder just because in some ways they seem to be these chemicals interact and they coexist and they work together. Mushrooms has DMT in it. Mushrooms has dimethyltryptamine in it, and so it's they can work together synergistically. I think, and I think if I like dialed it in where I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that, who knows? I might just turn into like Zeus, and I can pull down fireballs and I send down lightning bolts.
Or you might just unlock a superpower of some kind.
Tune into nature and start like speaking for the trees like the Lorax. And I'll come to you and be like, Marice, my child, I have news for you, brother. I have news for you. The trees have told me that I think you're vitamin C deficient, by the way. I think you should have some more oranges and citrus in your diet. The trees tell me. You walked on grass the other day, and the grass said you needed to cut your toenails. So
you did what though? Okay,
I'm just kidding.
But I have like a weird like theory. Was like why the heck do people get buried in caskets?
I don't like it. I don't want to be buried.
I would like to be buried in the soil and inside of the earth.
I want something. I would like to have either the same, or I'd like to be cremated.
Cremated and buried.
Yeah. I like the idea of being cremated and then like ashes maybe spread somewhere. I don't want to be held on to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it feels like you're just like a genie in a lamp.
Yeah,
no, it's like I'm just
keep a part
of my
essence
are here.
Also, yeah, if I understand correctly about cremation, most of the time it's not like
it's
your
not
loved
bad.
one's ashes. It's not your loved one's ashes. That's ashes from like many dead people. They're just like scooping some and throwing it in a jar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's fully true, but I believe that's the dark twist on and the possible reality.
Can that also lead to dark spirits as well?
Oh, why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? What a great point. Yeah,
because having just like, if that's the case, then you're pretty much inviting.
Yeah, we just cremated somebody. We just like euthanized on death row, and it may or may not be mixed with your grandpa. And so when you put that above your bedside table and you like say goodnight, grandpa. And
it's
then
not just him.
And it's like, and all of a sudden you wake up in the middle of the night and there's a silhouette of a dark figure at the end of your bed, and you're like, Grandpa?
No,
it's not. It's not.
It's
Grandpa.
Bubbles.
It's Bubbles. It's Bubbles.
No. But like, no, I had a theory. It was like, man, I feel like they're putting people in caskets. because of they're keeping them imprisoned inside that casket. They're not letting them go free
Let you
and being
decompose
one with the
properly.
earth. Yes.
Yeah, I also that's a theory I suppose I could add to with the fact that they put formaldehyde in us so that way our bodies don't rot. It's a way of like mummifying us. They
Yes.
take out our blood, they drain us of all of our blood, and then they pump us with formaldehyde. And that started, I think, in the Cold War, Civil War, some of that area, where they had to transport bodies back home, but they couldn't preserve them because they would rot and they would cause like disease and stuff like that. So they the business of like burying people and transporting the dead back home, they would use formaldehyde to preserve the bodies. And when the war times were over and whatnot, they were like, well, how do we keep the business going? Funeral homes. And so that's when funeral homes came into existence. So that way, you want your loved one in a nice casket, don't you? Don't you want the silk pillow? You need rosewood. You need golden handles. Grandpa needs to be taken care of very nicely. By the way, this casket's $15,000, and it's okay. If you can't afford that one, we have a payment plan. If you can't afford the payment plan, we've got this kind of shitty shoebox that's like $500, but you don't want to put grandpa on that.
That's why it feels so off when you see them in the casket. It's like it's like I know like they shave the facial hair and all that kind of stuff down.
They got makeup on them too.
Yeah,
usually.
but like they don't look like the same person.
They're not in there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, but like maybe their soul left their body already before the casket was closed and buried.
It's usually what I tend to think.
I hope so, but I feel like also maybe some people don't leave.
I think they have kind of an option sometimes. I think
okay.
I think they might have the ability to kind of hang around, and sometimes they might even have the ability to chronically hang around and become like a depressed or sad or tortured.
Are we doing like a
spirit or
Coco
energy.
situation here?
Coco?
Oh, you have never seen Coco?
Coco. I'm not sure.
The Mexican the dead of the living or the living of the dead.
Day of the Dead?
The Day of the Dead, yes.
Dia de los
He was playing a
Muertos?
guitar. He was playing a guitar.
The movie
Yes,
Coco.
yes.
I've seen that movie. Oh yes.
Is it kind of like that in a way? Like they linger, like there's like they can leave or come back whenever they want, kind of situation.
That's my thought on it. At least.
Okay.
I think because from experiences and near-death experiences that I've heard and whatnot, and what I think about astral projection and psychedelics and all that combined, I tend to come to the perspective of when you die, you're going to kind of float out of your body, and you're going to see it, and you're going to see your loved ones around you and whatnot. People might cry. You might cry as an energy. You might feel deep sorrow and pain, but you will probably kind of have the option to linger.
Oh.
And maybe even be like, I'm okay. I'm fine. Look, I'm right here. And that's torturous, and that's not good for your that's not good for the progression of your spirit, perhaps. And what you need to do is let go and recognize possibly also that there are ancestors and loved ones that are around you that if you can't like pull away, I don't know what it's like, but if you can't like pull away from the fact that you're dead and realize that you've got other things to do now, that you have loved ones surrounding you, waiting for you, kind of like joining up with them at an airport, and you're like, oh my god, I haven't seen you forever. Like you've got other things to do now. Your machine that you were using, this meat suit that you slip on every morning when you wake
Husk.
up, and it's a husk now, and you can't use it anymore. So you've got a new goal, and those people are still important to you, and you've got things to do for them here. Is what I think.
In the afterlife, like you can still spectate them, watch over them, try to guide them,
give them messages, perhaps. Yeah,
but because if you linger and you stay there, you're kind of corrupting your own soul in a way.
Yeah, you
and
can
also
become a tortured spirit.
Yeah,
you can't move on.
Ooh.
You
relying on the past too much.
That too, you could just like what I was saying earlier about like the addictions and things that you might like. You can become attached to just being alive. You could be like, I like smoking cigarettes and eating mashed potatoes.
It's like there's so many things that I still need to do, and I'm not fully content. I'm dying yet.
Exactly, unfinished business.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of things that can keep you here, but that's another reason why I think I am happy-go-lucky the way that I am is like but I'm still like a tortured soul in some sense where it's like if I were to get hit by a truck tomorrow and I were to die for some reason, God forbid,
I hope not.
I hope not too. I would be tortured by it. I'd be devastated because I'm not done here, and I care about my wife, and I want to build the future that we dream of, and all these things. And
So you
have
would
children.
linger?
I don't think I would linger. No, though. I think I know enough to know that it wouldn't be good for me, and that that may be the best thing, because this is my attitude in life too. Is that the best thing I can do for other people is be the best version of me, and the best version of me, even after I die, might be to just keep going.
Keep going up.
Yeah, and I can't let that stop me as much as I care about Katara. You know what I mean? Like I've got to, if I want to ascend to the Avatar state and use it for the greater good of balancing the world that's been at war for 100 years, I need to let go every once in a while.
And I think even in our physical bodies, like right now, we can't always rely on the past because the past is stopping our progression.
Yeah.
If you keep relying on the past, you're just torturing yourself even more.
For sure. It's weights around your ankles whenever you're trying to progress into the future, if you're thinking about the things that
If you can't let
that
go.
you think still make you up. Like if
Yeah.
I still called myself a thief, like, and I really believed it and put stock in it, like I'm just a dirty thief, I'd probably still be stealing. I don't do that though anymore.
No.
And that's why I'm honest about it too, is because it's almost like a defense against it. It's like a magic spell I can cast every time I'm honest about it against the person I used to be, to make sure he never comes back and can ever resurface, because I'm too on top of him. I'm like, everybody knows about you, man. You can't come back out, because then you wouldn't fool anyone. It wouldn't be possible. You are too honest and truthful that, like, it has become the antidote to the situation. He can't possibly escape, because the cage that I almost don't like to think about things like that too. I don't like caging any parts of myself or restricting any parts of myself. I have reformed him and turned him into something brand new, and he can't revert or devolve, because that's just not how life works. Life keeps moving forward and it evolves.
No matter how you look at it or how you perceive life, it's always gonna move forward, and you're gonna have no choice. Well, you have a choice, but eventually you're just gonna make your life more miserable if you don't decide to keep going forward.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to forget the past or forget what you were back then, just embrace of that part of yourself and know that you can become a better person from that. Not use your past person as a person you don't want to go back to.
It's an example.
Yeah, as an example. Use that as an example to know, like, I don't want to go that route. Let me try something else. Let me try something different.
That's kind of like in what some examples I would say that like when you're out in the middle of the ocean, you see that, like, that lighthouse that I was talking about. That's, you think you're drowning, you see a light out in the distance, that's something to swim towards. You can get on that rocky surface and be like, all right, where do I go next? You know what I mean? That's similar to it's lampposts, it's markers. Being able to look back and see the way that you used to be is being able to look back and be like, that's how far away that light post is. I'm glad it's that far away. It's a dim little glimmer back there. And then regardless too, you might be able to look around and be like, that's fucking dark out here. I don't see any other lights to head to. But I think we're pretty strong and adaptable creatures.
Oh yeah.
And whenever we don't see a light, sometimes we can imagine one. And then we start walking in the dark somewhere. Eventually, we come across it. You ever watch Adventure Time?
Oh my God, that show is.
I think we should wrap it up with this too. But Adventure Time has a lot of
deep shit.
not only that, it has DMT references. I'll show you.
I'm not surprised. You know what? If I'm thinking of the episode you're talking about, of them with like the rainbow-ish kind of thing, and like they were like tripping over I forgot what it was, but that was maybe, I know they probably do multiple episodes, but that was probably one of them, I think.
The episode for you viewers out there is called Puhoi. It is where Finn falls asleep in a pillow fort and lives a life with a pillow wife and a pillow family. Do you remember that episode?
No, I have not seen that episode.
Well, he lives to be an old man in this dream state in the pillow fort that Jake and him have built together while he's depressed with breaking up with Flame Princess or something like that. Yeah, and Jake's telling him...
the pillow fort, okay.
Yeah, Jake's telling him, like, this is literally my favorite cup. And then he throws it out the window and he's like, and now it doesn't exist, so I don't care about it anymore. At the end of the episode, Finn grows to be an old man in the pillow world, in his dream world, and he dies. And when he dies, he passes through this blank black space and then is hit with a fractal rainbow of colors that is exactly like taking off on DMT. It's when you close your eyes and all of a sudden, boom, you're hit with the exact same array of colors and light and craziness. All right. That was Marice, everybody.
Thank you for having me. I
Yes,
really appreciate
sir!
it.
Yes, sir! All right, we're going to have another one before we know it. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Third Eye Podcast. Oh!
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with my friend Marice. And I hope that those of you out there that still tune in and pay attention and tap into this weird, ethereal place that I call a podcast. I hope that you'll be lenient with me, because as this change that I have brought up takes place, I may be away here and there, but I'm still going to upload. That won't ever stop. Don't worry. But yeah, if you can't tell behind me here, I'm packing up and moving, so that might take some time and some of my energy and focus, but don't worry. Truly, I'm not going anywhere. And, well, I'll see you next time on the Third Eye Podcast. On the Third Eye Podcast.